Good morning, I'm Maki Mhlawuli. We've been in the courts where alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Ket Matlala is expected back in the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. Matlala faces charges of attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder and money laundering. The charges are related to an attack on his ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tobejane, in 2023. Tobejane survived a shooting incident on the N1 highway near Sandton, Johannesburg, and police say Matlala was behind the unsuccessful hit. Zoleka Kodashe has more.
During an appearance in court last month, Matlala abandoned his bail bid, while his wife, Tsakani Matlala, was granted bail of 20,000 rand. He's currently being held at the Kgoshi-Mampuru Correctional Centre's C-Max unit. He was transferred to the high-risk section of the facility this week after being found in possession of a cell phone during a raid. Matlala is also currently in the spotlight following damning claims made by KZN Police Commissioner Ntsapho Mkhwanazi linked Matlala to Minister of Police Ntsapho in serious allegations of interference and corruption within the police service. Zoleka Kodashe, Eyewitness News.
The DA says it's unacceptable for a sitting minister to evade accountability while surrounded by allegations of corruption, links to criminal syndicates and efforts to shield politically connected individuals from scrutiny. Yesterday, the party laid criminal charges against Police Minister Ntsapho, accusing him of lying to Parliament when he denied knowing Brown Mokgotsi, who is alleged to have influenced and interfered in police decisions. This after KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Ntsapho Mkhwanazi made startling allegations of undue political interference in the SAPS political killings task team, placing the police minister at the centre of an allegedly corrupt network that conspired to shut down the task team. Mkhunu is the second minister the DA laid laid criminal charges against, both for misleading and lying to Parliament. Last week, it was Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Nkabane over the CETA board panel selection and claiming it was independent. DA Deputy Chief Whip Bucks Nodada.
So we are out here today taking action on the Minister of Police by laying criminal charges. We have done this just 9 days ago to the Minister of Higher Education and Training, which is now directly being investigated with the Hawks, which we actually met this morning. So meaning that these cases of corruption and lying to Parliament are being taken seriously.
In addition to the criminal complaint and a parliamentary inquiry into Mkhunu, the party says it has also approached Parliament's Ethics Committee to conduct its own investigation. Meanwhile, President Cyril Ramaphosa is set to meet with the officials implicated in Mkhwanazi's allegations before addressing the nation on Sunday. Political parties across the board have criticised a fraud prevention review currently being undertaken by the South African Social Security Agency when it's severely understaffed. The review, meant to identify fraudulent beneficiaries, is causing mayhem at SASSA offices countrywide as vulnerable people are forced to queue for days to verify their details. Social Development Minister Sisisi Dolashe has, however, appealed to grant beneficiaries to bear down and comply, saying SASSA is throwing all its resources at the process. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The National Treasury has put SASSA on strict terms to root out the rot or face money transfers being frozen. But Chairperson of Parliament's Social Development Committee, the DA's Bridget Masango, says a review of this nature can't be successful if it's dependent on other departments whose systems are not in order, and SASSA is 50% understaffed.
To predicate funding on flawless integration with these databases without providing operational support or transition measures is setting SASSA up for failure.
The EFF's Paul Nita has blamed SASSA's systemic problems on weak systems, poor oversight and political neglect.
The situation at SASSA is a national disgrace. The social relief of distress, SRD grant, meant to provide emergency aid, is now riddled with fraud.
Rise Mzansi's Makashule Ghana says the verification process is causing panic that people won't get their grants, and better communication with those affected is needed. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Deputy Gauteng Police Commissioner Fred Kekana says the men linked to a kidnapping case where a businessman was kept in a house in Randfontein are believed to be linked to more cases. The house where the victim was kept was discovered by police through the arrest of one of the kidnappers earlier this week. Yesterday, the police pounced on the 4 suspects and rescued the 60-year-old victim. During the operation, 2 of the suspects were killed during a shootout with police and 2 others were arrested. The police were unharmed during the shootout. Commissioner Kekana says they will continue with investigations.
They are currently, as investigations still continuing, we are currently busy to do further linkages. But the obvious thing is that this is not the only case where they are linked. There is more, and there can be more than what we even think of.
In the UK, the government has confirmed its readiness to start returning migrants arriving in small boats to France. This will be done within weeks under a new pilot scheme referred to as the one in, one out deal. Under the deal, some arrivals in the UK will be returned to France, and in exchange, the UK will accept an equivalent number of asylum seekers subject to security checks. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer made the announcement while speaking alongside French President Emmanuel Macron at the end of a three-day state visit. Gold's trading at $3,332.78 an ounce. The rand's at 17.82 to the dollar, at 24.13 to the pound, at 20.81 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.88 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Midrand, we've got an accident reported on the N1 South. It happened just before Olifantsfontein Road. We still have got delays coming out of Samrand Avenue while travelling in Bedfordview. Another accident seen on the N3 North before the Kiludis interchange. Delays from Van Buren Road.
Look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng. Today, temperatures will peak at alternating highs of 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour: alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Kat Matlala is back in the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. The 702
8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela show. I hope you're well this morning. How was your week? Are you ready for the weekend? I hope the week wasn't that bad. Thank you for being with us here on 702. Every Friday on the 702 open line, we do Gratitude Friday. This is where you can call us or send us a WhatsApp to tell us what you're grateful for this week. What happened this week that reminded you of how blessed you are? What put a smile on your face? Please share that with us. We want to celebrate with you. What are you grateful for this week? You can call us on 011-883-0702. Send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. President Cyril Ramaphosa will be addressing the nation on Sunday at 7 p.m. to tell us how he will be dealing with allegations made by the KZN Police Commissioner General Ntlantla Mkhwanazi. The question is, will he establish a commission of inquiry? Will all those implicated be suspended pending the outcome of the inquiry? Should all three of them, the minister, the deputy commissioner, and the KZN commissioner, be suspended, or only the deputy commissioner and the minister? Because there are allegations that the deputy commissioner has also made against General Mkhwanazi, which I imagine, if we are to have an inquiry, it would have to look into that as well. What do you think is best to do here? Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. While you consider that, do you know this Sam Smith song?
Oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me. Why am I so emotional? No, it's not a good look and some self-control. Deep down I know this never works, but you can lay with me so it doesn't hurt.
So, that's a song by Sam Smith, right? Stay With Me, I think is the name of the song. Yeah? Stay With Me. Yes, it's the name of the song. Well, there's a new version of the song, which I'd like you to hear, by Baxi Sibusi Siwe on Instagram. That's her name. And tell me who sang it best. So Baxi did the version of the song as if it was being sung by none other than Mam Rebecca Malope.
Oh, won't you stay with me? 'Cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But only stay with me. Oh,
Oh my goodness. Huh? How crazy is that? How cool is that? What's your favorite version? Who sang it fair? Who sang it best? Between 10 and 11 o'clock, we're going to do the Across the Desk feature. And today I'm hosting emergency medical service personnel. These are people who respond first, right, during an emergency. Often they're working under pressure. They're working in challenging conditions to save lives, to provide urgent medical care and bring calm to chaos. They're literally lifesavers. So they're going to tell us more about their work. What are some of the mistakes we make when there's something that happens and we are waiting for emergency personnel? But they provide that patient care, right, in the ambulance while the patient is being transferred between hospitals. So we're going to find out more about their work between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our relationship and sex feature. And today we're discussing how to master the art of seduction. Do you ever seduce your partner? And how do you do that? Or maybe you have a partner that knows how to seduce you. That's a conversation we're going to have, because seduction is all about enhancing the natural allure that exists between partners, right? It adds excitement in your relationship, in your marriage. It keeps the passion alive, fostering a deeper emotional connection and shared intimacy. It's actually also a way to express desire and keep the romance flourishing. So how often do you do that? Do you have a partner that does it? We're going to talk about mastering that art of seduction on our relationship and sex feature at 11 o'clock. That's the show coming up after the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
After 3 hours, it's a midday report. That's over the next 3 hours. All right, let's go to your WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
No. Sam Smith does it much better. And also, what's with the shades, Clement?
Oh, we're on YouTube. Okay, so she's asking, what's with the shades? Because I'm wearing shades in studio. And to be clear, these are not sunglasses. They are indoor glasses. I'm wearing them because there is two lights that somehow to me feel stronger today in studio, because they are literally facing me. And we can't switch them off because we are also live on YouTube. So we don't want to obstruct the work of the cameras here in studio. So that's why I'm wearing these shades. I will be taking them off once and now, but there's sometimes when I look up and I can just feel the strain. So bear with me, please. By the way, if you want to watch the show while we are broadcasting it, you can just go to 702 YouTube page. That's where you'll find the link to watch the show live. Let's go to Menka, who's calling us from Meyersdal. Menka, how are you doing? Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my family.
Mm.
I'm not the easiest child that to raise, and through everything that I've been through with depression and anxiety and my anger as well. I think they've stood with me through every trial and challenge, and I'm just so grateful for them.
Oh, that's amazing.
Especially my mom and my dad.
Oh, that's great. Menka, thank you. Guys, we must appreciate people around us. And that's even sufficient to be grateful for, right? And as I've always said, Gratitude Friday is not just about like, oh, the big things only. Yes, we want to celebrate the big, the small, but it's also just what you're grateful for. Your wife, your husband, your kids, the fact that you are alive today, the love you get from your family. So Menka, thank you for reminding us of the importance of being grateful for the people around us, our family. Leonie, you're calling us from Bryanston. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement and team. Hope you are all well. This morning, my call on my gratitude would be about 5-6 months ago, I embarked on the Mrs. South Africa journey. And I've had a village who supported me and believed in my vision and my dream. Friday evening, we had our showcase, and I was announced as one of the top 30 finalists.
Oh, that's amazing.
In South Africa. Yes, it is. I am so absorbing and taking everything in. It's just such a beautiful experience. I've got so much gratitude, a heart filled with gratitude.
Oh, wow.
Along this journey.
Listen.
If there's any married woman out there, I would really recommend take this chance, take the stand, take up space. It's a beautiful experience.
Oh, listen, Leonie, we're celebrating with you this morning. Congratulations. Congratulations.
So
and please
so
keep us up to breast with just the process as it unfolds. Please include us in that journey. Congratulations. That's incredible. Let's go to Lesedi, who's calling us from Pretoria. Lesedi, hi.
Hello, Clement, you guys.
Ke gona le kae?
Now I'm grateful for my relationships, friendships in particular. Now, I think so many times we're so hung up on family and those very close. But I think for the longest time I've neglected my relationships, particularly with friends. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. And he pointed out my weakness on this. I've known it, but I've not actually taken accountability on it. And I decided yesterday when I was meditating that this is going to be my focus as well. I'm not going to neglect my relationships anymore, and I'm going to start working on them. But I'm mostly excited about Relationship Friday when I can't wait for the conversation.
Oh, you can't wait for the conversation? Yeah, please make sure. Send the voice note.
I guess that's so.
Listen, you can't wait for our chat about seduction at 11 o'clock. Let's go to, who's this? Kamogelo in Pretoria. Kamogelo, hi.
Hi, Clement.
Hey, Tada.
I don't know if you ever heard of someone say a person, it would be me. In a job that I've been working in for 17 years, and I'm grateful that I lost that job because God has opened a bigger door for me. The business a small business that I started is doing so well in the industry where this kind of business suffers greatly in this season of winter. In the past 2 years, my highest record of sales has always been in winter, and throughout the year, it's always been above average. I'm really, really grateful for the small business that God has opened this bigger door for me to strive.
Oh, that's great. Kamogelo in Pretoria, thank you very much. It's 20 minutes now after 9.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Jeez, is it revolutionary for me to be wearing glasses in Studio Able? You know how many people have now come to the YouTube page just to see the glasses? Oh wow. Monday on the YouTube page says, "Hi Clement, you look like a mafia boss in those shades." And then Vanessa says, "I just came to YouTube to check out those shades." Okay, let's do this now. Remember yesterday I told you about the national dialogue that we are going to host. In fact, we're hosting the People's Dialogue ahead of the national dialogue that the president announced. So it's going to be here at 7:02 at Prime Media House, and we're going to dedicate 3 hours of the show, and we're going to have the People's Dialogue ahead of the national dialogue. So yesterday I said you must send emails to contact@702.co.za. I've been corrected on that because the email address you need to send to is contact@702.co.za. So if you want to participate at the People's Dialogue, we've got lots of people who have requested to participate. and then we'll respond, of course, to make sure that we arrange so you can come to Prime Media House. So I just need you to tell us if you want to participate and give us your details. You can say contact@702.co.za. That's the email address. I also want to know from you. There are issues, obviously, that the team and I think are important to discuss, but we want to hear from you as well. What do you think are the key issues to discuss at this People's Dialogue we're organizing for August ahead of the National Dialogue? So send us an email on contact@702.co.za.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
All right, here's a question. A question that requires an honest answer on this Friday morning. Have you ever lied about something and you were caught red-handed? Let me repeat it. Have you ever lied about something and you were caught red-handed? And how did you deal with that? I'm asking you this because I went to this restaurant up the road from my house last night after work to pick up food. And I saw someone at the restaurant who told me they were out of the country. So we were supposed to have a meeting yesterday, but we couldn't because this person says they have had to leave the country, only for me to see them at this restaurant last night. So when we saw each other, they just pretended like they don't see me, but I waved because I wanted them to see that I can see them. And I wonder how you deal with situations like that, because I would never want to find myself in a situation like that. Yeah? So have you ever been there? Have you ever lied about something and you were caught red-handed? And how did you deal with it? Or maybe you are the person that caught someone who had been lying. And I'm going to give you an example. So when I was on holiday about, 3 weeks ago? So when I was coming back, right, I was at Heathrow Airport in London. I'm sitting in the lounge, waiting for my flight back home. And I see a woman who is sitting across me, but not too far towards my left. But she's behaving erratically, like weirdly, right? But I couldn't make out why. She kept on, every time I move, I look towards the left, like she looks away, and then she even moved and went to sit on the other side. So she was acting weirdly, but I didn't make anything of it. And then I got up to go and get food or get a drink, I don't remember. And then I walked there. When I was walking back, this woman comes to me, a Nigerian woman who lives in America. And then she comes to me and says, "Hello, sir, how are you? What's your name?" I tell her my name. And then she says, "Where are you from?" I tell her I'm on my way back home to South Africa. I was on holiday in the UK. And then she says, "Okay, you look like my boss. Literally, you look identical to my boss. And when I saw you, I got so scared because I lied to my boss." In America, I think in America, it was a long weekend. And then she says to me, "It's a long weekend in America, so I just told my boss that I'm sick. Kanti, I got on a plane because I want to go see my family in Nigeria for the weekend, and I'll be back on Monday." So she says, the boss doesn't know that she is now in London about to get on a plane to Nigeria to see her family. So she says, I look like her boss. And she showed me pictures of the boss. I do really look like the boss. I must ask my dad some really serious questions. So, and I just imagined, then it made sense why she was acting so weirdly earlier on. That's because she should actually be at work, but she's not. She's lied, and now she's at the airport. So that's just an example that came to my mind. And then just the last thing that came to my mind was something that happened to me here with my boss, actually. There was a time that I didn't come to work because I wasn't feeling well. In fact, I had come to work, I think, on a Thursday. And then after I did my show, I wasn't really feeling 100%. So I told my boss, I'm like, listen, I don't think I'll be able to do the show tomorrow if I continue like this, because I'm not really 100%. The boss is like, okay, cool, let us know how you feel later. We'll get someone to stand in. So then they call Thabo. Then in the evening, I tell them, okay, in the afternoon, I'm like, hey, I'm still not feeling good, so go ahead, Ntsapho can come through, fine. I wake up in the morning, I'm feeling better. Right? I'm feeling better in the morning. And then I went running. And we ran with, I think, Run Zone, because I sometimes run with Run Zone. So as we were running, we're going past an area and there are other runners there. Guess who's there, part of the runners? My boss. And then, obviously, I know it will seem weird, right? And not because of anything else, because I didn't lie. I was not well the previous day. But I woke up that morning and I felt really better. And I thought, actually, let me run, because that's what I do. Even when I'm coming out of illness, out of sickness, I go for a run. That just clears me out. So then I see my boss, and it was just so embarrassing, because I just thought, I wonder what he's thinking. And he greeted me, and it was so funny. It really was so funny. And to my justification, because I felt well when I woke up at 6 in the morning, it's not like I can call 702 and say, oh, I feel better. Tell Ntsapho to stay at home. I'm coming in. You've already booked someone. So I couldn't have come to work that morning. So I went running. And that was an awkward moment for me, even though I had not really lied about my sickness. So what's been your moment? Have you ever been there? And how did you deal with it? 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 0727021702.
Hi, Clement. It's Mike here in Pretoria. On the topic regarding being lied to and caught red-handed, or lying and being caught red-handed. This year, I went to Limpopo in Easter, and then one of the guys that I grew up with, he asked a lift to come back to Joburg with me. And then on Sunday, he called me to say, hey, look, dude, I've left. I'm in Pretoria already. I've left. You don't have to live with me anymore. And then later on that night on Sunday, I went to some pub around the area. When I got there, I bumped into him, and you could see that actually. It's one of those. Even the way he greeted me, I was like, dude, you just told me in the morning that you are in Pretoria already. But anyway,
Yeah, listen, lies are not always going to get you out of trouble. What's your story? I'll come back after the headlines with more of your calls on 011-883-0702. Have you been caught red-handed? Or maybe you caught someone, like in my case, this chap who's supposedly out of the country, but ashuen at a restaurant. Yeah. And what do you do? Sometimes, I just feel like, let me not say anything so that the person doesn't feel embarrassed. But sometimes I'm like, I actually want them to see and to know that I know that they're here. More of your stories after the headlines. It's 9:30. Let's get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Mikey, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Ket Mhlawuli is expected back in the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. Mhlawuli faces charges of attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and money laundering. The charges are related to an attack on his ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tobejane, in 2023, who survived a hit that police say Mhlawuli ordered. With the worst of load shedding ostensibly over, Electricity and Energy Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa says the focus of his new ministry now shifts to increasing energy availability and broadening the country's energy sources. Delivering the first budget of this new department to the National Assembly, Ramokgopa announced that a new gas-to-power program will feature prominently on his agenda. But several political parties have cast doubt on whether promises to raise the energy availability factor to 70% by the end of this financial year will be realized. And in America, President Donald Trump is set to meet with first responders and local officials in Texas today, a week after flash floods killed at least 120 people, including dozens of children. The American leader's visit comes as questions mount over the response to the deadly torrents after heavy rainfall and an overflowing river swept away houses, trees, cars and people. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 10 o'clock, or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in Bedfordview, we've got delays on the N3 North between the Geldenis interchange and the Kilulis interchange. That's due to an accident between these 2 points. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. If you're traveling on the N12 as well as the R24 West, the accident scene will also affect you. If you are traveling towards the Crown City area, do expect delays along the M2 West between Crown Turnoff and Main Reef Road. And in Midrand, a slight backup reported on the N1 South. This is due to an earlier accident that's been moved to the side of the road. This is just after the Olifantsfontein Road off-ramp. Traveling in the city of Tshwane, a slight backup on the N1 North towards the Flying Saucer interchange. I'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Tax season has officially opened. The crashing of the platform site on Monday, was it an indication of there are a number of South Africans who are absolutely on the ready to submit their tax returns?
Yeah, no, I was actually going to say that I suppose a lot of South Africans think they'll be where they are, expecting a tax refund. On the one hand, it's quite encouraging.
Ronald Matande is a tax practitioner and head of operations at the Financial Planning Institute of South Africa.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Mzansi, the Powerball jackpot guaranteed at 65 million rand is waiting to be won this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 65 million rand jackpot today and you could win the multi-millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Handa, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. E2 is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
Dear Journal, day 3049 of trying to be an adult. I still haven't bought a recycling bin, so there's a mountain of cans in my kitchen that could collapse at any moment. Anyway, what's that saying about your home being a reflection of your mental state?
Got evicted from the family home? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's like 570 Rand a month, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
You could smash that snooze button for the 7th time. Or you could grab the new Berry Blue sports drink from Aquila Vive and get moving. Blue has never tasted so good. Bursting with bold berry flavor. Packed with electrolytes and vitamins. And free from colorants. Aquila Vive sports and power drinks. Let's move.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But this walk is for something greater.
It's team building.
This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. You'll walk through history. You'll walk with it. On Sunday, 27 July, the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns. It's a route that winds through the heart and soul of our capital city. From the sacred grounds of Freedom Park to the powerful steps of the Union Buildings. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first-timers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for children under 12. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the Talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock, 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. You can send us your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. Let's start with your WhatsApps.
Good morning, Clement and the crew. Clement, if I lie to you and say I'm in Durban, I'm out of Gauteng, I'm in Durban, and it happens, you see, it also means you are also in Durban. Let's not discuss lots of things. It means we are also in Durban. Have a nice day, Uber driver.
That's so funny.
Clement, speaking about lies, especially at work, one of our interns went to the salon. He told the manager or the principal that she's going to the Home Affairs. What happened is she went to the saloon. She didn't go to Home Affairs. Later in the afternoon, they bump into each other at the salon. The following day, the principal asked, "You said you are going to Home Affairs, but we met at the saloon. Why you were lying? You could have told the truth." So the lady was very, very, very embarrassed. Lies at work. Good show as always.
So I've been caught in a similar situation as well. And I can say this because that is a long time ago. So when I was working for Eyewitness News as a field reporter, one day the SABC calls me because they're trying to get me to join them. This is like 2017, 2017, 2018, somewhere there. And I remember so the SABC calls, and then they want me to come be a reporter there. They were trying to poach me from Eyewitness News. So they wanted us to have a quick meeting, right? So then I told my manager at the time, because I'm leaving Eyewitness News, I had filed my stories, and I'm like, listen, I just need to go to the bank. I need to go to the bank, and then I'll be back. And then I drove. I left, then I go to SABC for this quick meeting. Guess who I find going up as I go up the lifts? I see the best friend of my manager. When I saw her, I just knew that my manager is going to know about what just happened. So I got there, I did a quick meeting for those 10 minutes, 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I left. By the time I came back to the newsroom, a friend of mine at the time said to me, by the way, they know where you were. Oh, that was the longest week of my life at work, because also, when the boss knows, the boss knows that you know something, but they don't tell you, they just want to make your life miserable. The whole week, I was waiting for the call to say, come here. But it didn't come. And that was the most difficult part, because I was on edge the entire time. So the lesson there is just be completely honest, because you never know what's going to happen. Hey, Anthony, you're calling us from Greenstone. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Hi. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Friend, I don't know why you brought this topic up, but I've kept the secret for more than a decade now.
Confess. This is the time, Anthony.
It is fatal, though. And look, I've got a prophetic word on me, and most times the things I speak actually happen.
Yeah.
So I suppose I'm going to be telling you this message. Maybe it's for someone in your audience. But what had happened to me in 1997? Can you believe this? I left my job. I wasn't happy where I was at my current employer, and another company came to me and offered me employment, and I decided to accept this new job without resigning from my employer. We were totally unhappy. I was unhappy. So I lied to my employer. I said I was living in Johannesburg. I called in and I said, listen, I'm not coming to work. I was involved in a motor vehicle accident in the northern province. I articulated how the accident had happened. I was traveling. It was a head-on collision. In actual fact, I'm in hospital. I had broken my leg. I went on, and I was quite dramatic about it. Clement, having started this new role, the following week, my new employer says to me, Anthony, you need to go to the northern province. There's a project there. I jumped in my vehicle and we rode out. Clement, the exact way as I had described it. The accident happened that way. I was in a head-on collision. I almost passed on. I was hospitalized for 3 months.
Oh my
I
goodness.
explained that I had broken my leg, the exact way as I had described it. The prophetic word that I had happened to me. The old employer came to my house to visit me.
Oh my goodness.
And saw me not knowing that I had taken on this new role, but I had lied. And the lie that I had actually spoken had manifested as I had spoken. So be careful.
Careful what
of
you
the
lie
lie you
about.
tell.
Yes.
Be careful. Yes. And especially if you're prophetic about it. So
Yeah.
God bless, man. That was my experience. I don't know if that's a message for someone.
Yeah. Anthony, what an experience. Yo, that is so scary. Yeah, but that's a lesson there. Careful of the lies you tell.
Morning, Clement, to your crew there, and morning to everyone else who's listening. You know, this really makes me chuckle, Clement, because it takes me back to this other Sunday when this other dude, he's my cousin, actually. He came during the burial society meeting. We were having a meeting, and he was even late. He asked to be excused so that he could go and get his daughter some medication because she wasn't feeling very well. He was given the permission to go. But I had my doubts, man, because I know him. I had my doubts. When after the meeting, I went up to my brothers. I found the man, relaxing, enjoying himself with a bottle of booze in his hand. And I was like, and he didn't know what to tell me.
Hi, Clement and the listeners. Last month, I asked to work from home on a Friday, but then I traveled to Pietermaritzburg, and then we attended the Hilton Michael House, Sorabi. So I posted on my status. Guess what? On Monday, my boss says, "Oh, I saw your status." I was so embarrassed because it really meant I didn't work the whole day Friday. Wow.
Man, I know why are you posting, eh? I mean, if you've lied that, hey, I'm working from home or I'm not okay, and then you're posting from somewhere? Yeah. Reminds me of a certain colleague. So funny. Yeah. Reminds me of a certain colleague. May not be a colleague here or wherever, but in this industry, who once said, Lena, he's not feeling okay. And he went and posted having bubbles and dancing.
Like to say my granny passed away again. Thank you.
Lesson is do not lie.
Clement, my girlfriends and I used to bunk work once a year and do a movie day. And we always used to do it at home because we didn't want to get caught. This one time we decided to go to Monte Casino, and my best friend had told her boss that her granny died. And my sister and I always used to say, don't kill people that are alive.
Yeah.
Don't kill people that are alive, meaning don't lie about your granny if she's still alive. But this friend's granny was dead. So we're like, okay, your granny's dead. You're coming with us to the movies. And we bumped into, my best friend walked straight into her boss at Monte Casino at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we were like, who should be scared of who? Why is he gambling at 10 in the morning? Needless to say, neither of them spoke about it again.
Oh my goodness. But you see, for me, that's what's difficult. Like, I can't take the silence about it, because then I'm constantly stuck with this reality that my boss knows, right? And I'm constantly asking myself, but when is it going to be brought up? So I'm sorry, I would rather you bring it up with me there and there and say, hi, Bo, I thought you were sick and you are here, Monte Casino at 10 in the morning? Because if I come the whole week at work, are you kidding me? That's going to be the most uncomfortable week. So yeah, I don't know. I would rather just address it with me there and there.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
My name is Papla from Ayres. I listen to Clement, Mandy, and Stephen. And 702 is my source of information. And I just love listening to it. I've been listening to 702 for many, many, many years. And I'm looking forward to listen to many, many more to come. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Prepare for an exhilarating new Hollywood Bets exclusive. You could win big with our exciting new bingo range from Coletta Gaming. Turbocharge
smooth sounds of 702. 702 Music, live from Menlo Park Shopping Centre this Saturday with the Office of the Tax Ombud on 702.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Yeah, a lot of people don't get or don't believe that I'm wearing indoor glasses today because of the lights a little too bright. Abel, did I not do a cataract surgery 3 years ago? I did, right? I went for an eye surgery about 3 or 4 years ago. I did a cataract surgery, so I suspect that something is coming back there. And as I said, it just feels, because some people are suggesting that maybe I'm bubbleized and I'm trying to hide. I'm not. So that's why I've taken my glasses temporarily so you can see that I'm actually quite normal. I'm not bubbleized. It's just that on my eyes today, the lights feel a bit more stronger. I'm not sure why. I'm sure it's going to be different on Monday. But that's why I am wearing the glasses. Let's go to some more of your WhatsApp voice notes and your calls. Let me start with these texts, though. Tiny says, Clement, a colleague lied that his mom passed. We then went to the funeral from Joburg to Limpopo, and there was no funeral. The mother was alive. He got fired. I mean, I would fire him too. But also, guys, why do we lie about deaths? Huh? I know, I'm so uncomfortable about that. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you got your mom or your grandmother? That's too scary. Borale says, Clement, I can relate to what the caller has experienced. The manifestation of a lie. You see, it does happen sometimes that you lie about something and it happens exactly the same way you had lied about it. Mhlawuli says, Clement, my cousin lied and requested a day off to go for an interview. Guess what? He met the manager at the very interview. The manager asked him, what are you doing here? He also asked the manager, Luena, what are you doing here? Maybe both of you, imagine both of you were doing the same, were going there for the same interview. That would be fascinating, hey?
Yo, Clement, this topic, you must hear about salespeople. I'm retired now, but yeah. You know, so one of them, I'm going to be quick. One of them said that she sort of ghost called, and then she wrote a report on having gone to this company for whatever, and then stayed at home. She was sort of going through something with the family. Unfortunately, the company that she had listed as, in her report, phoned the office to say, we've got a problem with this product, and then they said, but so-and-so has come and sorted it out and exchanged it. And they said, no, we haven't seen it for 3 months.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the one. The other one, quickly, this guy says he's going on a trip, and then he then doesn't go, but he takes his girlfriend to dinner and charges the restaurant as a dinner during a work trip. But then the cities don't tally. Yeah, there's strings of those.
I wanted to go and assist the family on Friday before the funeral on Saturday. So I told my boss that, you know what, my brother is late, and obviously I want to assist the family. So I won't come on Friday. I'll see you on Monday. Guess what? On Friday late, my boss is like, no, give me the direction. I'm coming to the funeral. I'm like, oh my God. What to do? Then I had to give him the direction. And guess what? On Saturday morning, my boss was there. And my aunt was also there. My aunt was wondering, why is your boss here in this funeral? I was so shocked. The day that I'll never forget. Since that time, I'm no longer lying.
At least you learned something, hey? At least you learned something. More of the text. Oh, let's start with Thuli, in fact, in Rustenburg, and I'll come back to the text. Thuli, good morning.
Hi, Clement. You just got caught with a lie, Baba. So it's
Why?
a good day for your topic.
How?
No, the lights issue. I think you are Babalas, because how did you know you have an issue with the lights? How do you know to bring along the glasses? When you left home, you didn't know there would be an
My
issue
glasses
with
are
the
always in my bag. No.
Okay, Baba. I
My
don't
glasses. Okay, Thili's trying to catch me in a lie. No. So, my glasses are always in my bag. So today I came to work, and now when I walked into the studio, and then I stayed for a bit, and then I realized that there's a strain on my eyes. And then I took out the glasses because it's like they're indoor glasses though, right? They're like sunglasses, but they're indoor glasses. So then I took out these glasses to wear them and I carry these glasses a lot because there are many times, I will walk into buildings that are too bright or have got too much light, and then I normally wear my indoor glasses. So trust me, it is not because I'm babalazed. In fact, I have been taking a break from alcohol. Yes, Abel, I have. Yeah? Don't believe. It's true. I went to the office dressed up. My colleagues asked. And then when I said, I went to the mall for a new outfit, new look. Kanti, my line manager, knew because we went for the same screen test. And he saw my name from those register forms you sign. He went in after I had left. Next day, he came to work and said to me, I hope you get the job. Sure. Another one says, hi, Clem. So during the mourning period when Tata Mandela passed on, I told my employer that I was sick so that me and my friends could go pay respects and see him lying in state at the Union building. Didn't my employer see me on TV walking by Tata's casket? Fortunately, I was in trouble and we had a good laugh. Oh, fortunately, I wasn't in trouble. I think that's what you meant to say. But you see, that's risky. How do you go? I mean, you can't say I'm sick and then you're going to see Tata Madiba Mandela at the Union buildings when there are so many cameras. Chances are you will be caught somewhere there. Nina says, Clement, I once lied and called in sick only to meet my boss at the interview I was attending, and she was also there getting interviewed for the same position. Now that's awkward. And then, Clement, I lied to then boyfriend that I went home because my younger brother was sick back in Limpopo. I didn't want to see him. Later that evening, we went clubbing. I was within the dance floor dancing, and someone tapped my shoulder. Oh, that's so beautiful. You're blessed, and congratulations. And I hope you'll make the right choice about which offer to accept, and all the best with the new job. Thank you so much for all of your funny Friday kind of calls and texts today. Really, really was fun. It's time for the news, 10 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin with news just in. 12 SANDF members have been granted bail in the Randburg Magistrates Court this morning. The group faced charges of murder, fraud and obstructing the ends of justice for the murder of Lieutenant Colonel Franz Matipa. We'll have more on this story in our later bulletins. In other news just in, the case against alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Ket Matlala has been postponed in the Alexandra Magistrates Court. Matlala appeared in court this morning facing charges of attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder and money laundering. The charges relate to an attack on his ex-girlfriend Tebogo Thobejane in 2023. Thobejane survived a shooting near Sandton and police say Matlala was behind her attempted assassination. He'll be back in court on the 25th of August. Zoleka Kodashe has more.
During an appearance in court last month, Matlala abandoned his bail bid, while his wife, Tsakani Matlala, was granted bail of 20,000 rand. He's currently being held at the Kgoshi-Mampuru Correctional Centre's C-Max unit. He was transferred to the high-risk section of the facility this week after being found in possession of a cell phone during a raid. Manyathela is also currently in the spotlight following damning claims made by KZN Police Commissioner Ntsapho Mkhwanazi linked Manyathela to Minister of Police Senzo Mchunu in serious allegations of interference and corruption within the police service. Zoleka Kodashem, Eyewitness News.
Former Deputy President David Mabuza's children say it's been painful to imagine a future without their father. Mabuza died last week after battling a short illness in hospital. His children reflected on his death during a memorial service at the Pala village in Mbombela yesterday. Alfara Mushwana is in Mpumalanga.
Former Deputy President David Mabuza's family is unhappy that he devoted most of his time to serving the ANC and left little time to spend with his family. But his daughter, Angela Mabuza, says despite this, she couldn't have wished for a better father.
Dad was not an overly expressive man, but he showed love through belief. He believed in us. He believed we could carry weight, make decisions. He prepared us for life not by shielding us from it, but by sharpening us for it.
His son, Kolis Mabuza, says all his father wanted was to see his children succeed.
He reminded us often that his own upbringing had been very difficult. He told stories of how much harder it had been for him. He didn't do this to shame us, but to show us how far he had come and how much further we could go.
Mabuza will be laid to rest in Barberton tomorrow. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Mbombela in Mpumalanga.
With the worst of load shedding ostensibly over, Electricity and Energy Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa says the focus of his new ministry now shifts to increasing energy availability and broadening the country's energy sources. Delivering the first budget of this new department to the National Assembly, Ramokgopa announced that a new gas-to-power program will feature prominently on his agenda. But several political parties have cast doubt on whether promises to raise the energy availability factor to 70% by the end of this financial year will be realized. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Setting goals for the year ahead, Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa says new bid windows will be opened for renewable energy, battery energy storage and gas-to-power programs. With gas a major focus area, a master plan and implementation framework are to be drawn up to set the scene.
South Africa is approaching what analysts have termed a gas cliff, a structural supply shortfall arising from the imminent depletion of domestic gas reserves, declining imports and delayed infrastructure investments.
Ramokgopa says the country's nuclear intentions will also be reset.
Across the globe, nations are re-evaluating nuclear not merely as a clean baseload source, but as a strategic asset to secure energy sovereignty, stimulate innovation, and drive industrial competition.
Ramokgopa says much work still needs to be done to expand the country's transmission network and to maintain a declining distribution network. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Parliament's Defence Portfolio Committee Chair Dakota Legoete says government, including the President, needs to be educated on the importance of a well-capacitated SANDF. The committee chair says the department's budget decreased despite a global crisis, which has left more countries bolstering their military capabilities. On Wednesday, Minister Angie Motshekga tabled a 57 billion rand budget, a marginal drop from last year's 58 billion rand. Sidi Madia reports.
Dakota Legoete, an ANC MP who currently serves as one of the committee chairs of defense, is refusing to stay mum as the department's purse continues to shrink.
I've taken an oath of office to be loyal to defend the Republic and its people. And I would be failing if I'm not honest. I also need to be another Mkhwanazi so that people must understand we are getting sick and tired of being sick and tired.
He says money over the years has not been used to capacitate the country's military, instead to bail out sinking SOEs. Legoete says the country remains vulnerable.
We are still at 0.7%, but expect not to have porous borders, expect not to have the criminal element that extorts people, even on the cyber level. There is a cyber extortion, and South Africa is one of the highest targets in the globe.
He says the president and his government must be taught about a war cabinet and its functions, including how to override allocation of funds to favor security and defense. Sidi Madia, Eyewitness News.
And in Turkey, the outlawed Kurdish PKK will hold a ceremony today to mark a symbolic first step in laying down its arms. This comes 40 years after the group's armed struggle against the Turkish state began. The disarmament process will start under tight security in Iraqi Kurdistan and is expected to take all summer. Some 40,000 people have been killed since the conflict began, and the PKK is listed as a terror group in Turkey, the US, the EU, and the UK. In a video, the PKK's imprisoned leader, Abdullah Öcalan, described the move as a voluntary transition to the phase of democratic politics and law. Gold's trading at $3,341.44 an ounce. The rand's at 17.83 to the dollar, at 24.15 to the pound, at 20.84 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $69.01 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 West between the Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Van Buren Road exit and the Gilulis interchange due to a major accident scene. While travelling in Greenstone, do expect delays along Witwatersrand Road approaching the N3 due to roadworks.
A look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng. Today, temperatures will peak at alternating highs of 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. 12 SANDF members have been granted bail in the Randburg Magistrates Court this morning.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
What are the matters that matter to you?
702 listens.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang. Welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702, and thank you for your calls and WhatsApps on the 702 open line. Time now for our Across the Desk feature.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
So on our Across the Desk feature this morning, I am hosting emergency medical service personnel, and I want us to find out more about the work that they do, like we ordinarily do when we bring in different professions on the Across the Desk feature. These are people who respond fast during an emergency, often working under pressure and in challenging conditions to save lives. They have to provide that urgent medical care and bring calm to chaos. As I said earlier, they're literally our life saviors. But sometimes I do wonder what are some of the mistakes we make in an event of an emergency while we wait for the emergency personnel. Like, what should we be doing? What should we not be doing? If you are in the industry or you've got questions, you can give us a call. You want to maybe join this conversation. The number to dial is 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. My guests in studio this morning, we've got Owen Manhire, who is a paramedic and director of RALMAD. Owen, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thanks, Clemens, and thanks to all the listeners to 702.
We also have Shanelle Ayres, who is an intermediate life support practitioner and owner of Revive Medical. Shanelle, welcome to the show as well. Hi.
Thank you so much for having us, Clement.
And Ntsapho Mhlawuli is a paramedic and general secretary of the South African Emergency Personnel's Union. Ntsapho, thank you for also making time. Hi.
Hi, welcome. Want to greet the family and friends of 702.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for making
you
time. So let me just start with how did you end up in this industry? Let's start with you, Owen. Is it something you've always wanted to do? How did you end up here?
That's a good question. I really can't define at what time exactly.
Yeah.
I made up my mind. I can just recall when I was doing my matric and went to do job shadowing. And I went to one of the, I think, largest private ambulance service in South Africa, and I fell in love with it. Then from there, from completing matric, I just went and studied the profession.
Oh, wow. And for you, Shanelle?
So it was never actually my first choice.
Mm.
My first choice was actually to be a forensic scientist.
Ah.
Yeah, and like Owen, I had to do some job shadowing, and obviously it's not very easy to find forensic
Yeah.
scientists in South Africa to job shadow.
Yeah.
And at that time, one of my best friend's brothers was a paramedic at Netcare.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, I have to do this project. Like, can I just ride along?
Mm.
So he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So anyway, I rode along, and that was the end of it. I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And I mean, I've
Jeez,
always...
what happened on that trip?
Literally... I'm sure if you ask most people in the
Yeah.
EMS, it's the initial adrenaline rush.
Yes.
You get addicted. It really is an addiction. But I know if you ask people, their usual answer is because I want to help other people. And honestly, like, yes, that is one of my answers. But also I've been drawn to the unpredictability and the urgency of emergency medicine.
Yes.
The fact that you are that first point of contact in somebody's trauma, and this is their worst day of their life, and they call you to trust you, to help them, to make them feel better. And I think being the calm in someone's chaos is just very rewarding.
Yes. Ntsapho?
Yes, Clement.
And how did you get into it yourself?
One of my cousin sister approached me around 20, it was 2004, after my matric, but I declined. Because on that time, when you see accident, see paramedic responding, I said to myself, no, I cannot go in that side. Yeah. It was not my future career that I was looking, because mine was to coming the best one of the CA in South Africa, but due to the finance, I end up after matric not getting to go to university.
Yes.
So after that, I started to hustle, 2004, 2005. In 2006, I decided, hey man, let me consider this to do this course. Let me go find out. But I end up enjoying, because it end up to be my call.
Yes.
Yeah.
So fascinating, because sometimes we don't realize that by you not ending up as a forensic investigator or analyst, actually you are being directed to your calling, because now you end up doing something like, even when you say in Ntsapho, you end up doing something that you really love. And now you feel like, I'm home now. I found something that fulfills me.
Yeah. The way that I end up enjoying. When you receive a call, go and assist the person, especially those code 1, P1. On the road, you'll even, if it's possible, you can fly.
Yes.
Yeah, because you always think about what you'll do if it's an NVA accident, or what will people maybe, for example, is a big accident. It's your choice when you arrive. Who must be started? Is depending on you. Who must save first?
Who do you?
It's a very big decision.
Yeah.
If people are 4 or 3 in the accident, and you are first through to arrive, it's your decision. Who I must start?
Who do you start first? So let's look at Owen, the different categories. Like when you get called as emergency medical service personnel, do they tell you like this person is at this level of injury? Are those things required so that you know what you are expecting, at least when you get there? Like, do you have categories of how worse or how better or how bad it is?
We do. We call it a triage system.
Okay.
So when someone phones an ambulance, it goes to a dispatcher.
Yeah.
Dispatchers are medically trained people. They do know that speaking to layman people, so they try to break down into simple terminology.
Mhm.
They start asking you questions like, are they able to talk? Are they responsive? What nature of accident is it? Past medical history, are they known, for example, if you are cardiac, are they diabetic?
Mhm.
Such information is what they're going to use over the phone to actually do what we call triage, to see how urgent the emergency might be. There are also limitations in it, because sometimes you get someone who's phoning you. They're in a state they can't even explain what's really happening. Sometimes it's even kids. Kids these days are very smart. They even know how to phone emergency medical services. So it does have limitations, but yes, there is a way of sorting those emergencies out. We call it triage.
Okay.
The highest one is what my colleague just mentioned now when he mentioned P1, which means priority one. That means it's the most severe life-threatening call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you guys get there so quick, Shanelle? Because sometimes like this, like in a case of an accident, it happens now, and the next thing you know, Revive Medical is here. Like, how does that happen? I mean, I know panicking. Can you imagine the people there whose loved ones are probably the ones who need that urgent care? How do you guys learn to regulate that? Because some of the cases are very, very devastating.
Yeah, first thing, when you respond with your partner, on the way you discuss, we are responding because you received a call. As my colleague said, having is an accident, 4 people or 5, or is a collision, we need to rescue, everything. But on the way is where you start to prepare yourself with your partner. Because it's very important, both of you, to be prepared. You discuss, what if this accident is like this? When you arrive, and for example, you see it's a very critical one. I once respond to the one that it was a bus. Maybe it was 23 seat, if I still remember correct. And when you arrive, people are outside, and you start to panic to say, where we begin to start. But we always, your partner must be next to you. Because once you start to spread, it's where you're going to lose and you're going to panic. So you always communicate with your partner. As a senior, you give the direction. Okay, let's start with this one. You check the scene is safe, everything, then you report about you need to pick up. While you do that communication, sometimes it helps you to become down.
Okay.
Then you start to treat. But sometimes it's difficult, even after that scene, all those things coming back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you see, sometimes it's difficult. When you see the body of a person doesn't have a head.
Oh God! Do you guys see therapists? Because do you talk to someone about these things?
We should.
I hope you do, because it's hectic.
Especially in government, is a space that we EMS as a whole, nationally, we don't have that special section, and it's needed because the way it affects us, it end up changing even our behavior.
Yes.
It affects even our families. Some, they get a job while we're not using, for example, drinking. Some, they get this job, we're married. But if you check the status, the way it affects us, I experienced that when I get married in 2015. My wife will always, when 2016 got pregnant, then when you start to panic, I said, no, man, it's code 15. You're not sick. It's a natural. Because it's the way that angles calls, and you end up change your mind.
Your mind.
You're not panicking while you need a care. Then you end up feeling that no man, doesn't support, doesn't have that care.
Because you come in with your thing.
So it affects you a lot.
How do you, I mean, I'm sure have you dealt with like severe cases as well, like that really are traumatic? And how do you deal with, do you talk to maybe a partner at home? Do you have colleagues you talk to about some of these traumatic cases?
Yeah, look, for me, yes, I think I know I've got the best wife in the world. I always got distress when I get home, and that helps a lot. I think what Shanelle also mentioned, it's very important to seek going to counseling because you could be used to doing this for so many years you've been in the profession, but at the end, you're still human.
You are.
There are certain cases that I feel I'm good at dealing with until maybe I respond to an accident for maybe a child who's about the same age with my niece. So now it becomes a bit close to home. So yes, you might be okay with time dealing with majority of the incidences, but for me personally, I think you still have one or two calls that are going to actually hit you.
Yeah,
you need to have someone
that you can talk to about those. Do you ever get emotional? Like, are there cases that ever get to you, or are you trained to? There's no time for emotion here. Like, there's no time for Shanelle to be crying here. I'm sorry. Like, she needs to work. Like, how do you bring yourself back to be in the moment? I know myself. I would be devastated. I don't know how I would be able to even respond like that in a rational way.
So no one actually teaches you how to deal with it. As far as I understand, they have started bringing it into the studies now with the younger generation, because obviously, and I'm sure Owen and Ntsapho can agree with me, the EMS is actually filled with a bunch of broken people. You just need to focus on that situation that you have at hand. The calmer you are, the calmer you can make the patient. You can freak out later. Like the fact that you now are responsible for this life, you can't feel your own emotions while you're busy with them. And it does. I mean, I went through a time in my career that actually, when I went home, my mom would be like, "You're so cold. Like, can you actually just care?" And I never saw myself like that until I reflected, and I said, actually, like, I'm very hard. Like, you almost put up this wall that to protect yourself from your own emotions.
Sure.
And once you break that down, you become very vulnerable, which is why I think a lot of people in the EMS don't seek help, because they've just learned to deal with it. And they know that if I get help for this, if I open up and I talk about this, it's never going to stop.
It's never going to stop. And yet you need to learn to suppress your emotions when you are in that moment.
Exactly.
You can be emotional later.
Exactly.
Sure. What a way to put it. All right, it's 25 minutes after 10 o'clock. We're going to continue this conversation after the break. I've got some WhatsApps coming through, some calls as well. I want them to also tell us about what we need to be careful of, perhaps when we find ourselves or our loved ones in an emergency while we wait for medical care. What questions do you have? What inputs do you have? Give us a call or send a WhatsApp voice note. It's 26 after 10.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
The explosive revelations of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. Many of us knew this. We might not have known who the names are. It's an interesting time in that the president will be responding to what the general has said on Sunday. So there's going to be a family meeting again on Sunday, folks. As you know, that there are some who say he himself, given the fact that we don't have full disclosure with regards to Palapa. I believe the general. I believe that the rabbit hole goes far deeper than what he's revealed.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, they say. But my toaster isn't broken exactly. It just lands my toast on the kitchen floor. You see, some things only kinda never work. Like a financial plan based on generic advice. That's why Momentum accredited financial advisors take the time to understand you and only then apply their expertise. Advice meets your context. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is part of Momentum Group Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety and service, Warrior Paints is street ahead. Warrior Paints, affordable, lasting, luxury.
Did you know that every hour someone in South Africa is diagnosed with blood cancer or a blood disorder? DKMS Africa helps patients find a matching stem cell donor, ensuring that patients get the transplant they need. This Mandela Month, be part of the mission. Donate 50 rands towards the Swap Kids Save Lives campaign. Your donation will help more people register as potential stem cell donors. Visit dkmsafrica.org today. Every rand and every swab count in the fight against blood cancer.
Mzansi, the Powerball jackpot guaranteed at 65 million rand is waiting to be won this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 65 million rand jackpot today, and you could win the multi-millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. eTuba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
As the official retail partner of the Springboks, Pick n Pay is proud to back the box and give you the chance to be the ultimate smart supporter with Pick n Pay ASAP. Money or the box on 702. WhatsApp your name, ID number, and the word ASAP to 072 702 1702. You could face the ultimate choice, a mystery Springbok supporter prize, or Pick n Pay ASAP vouchers worth up to 2,000 rand. It's time to show your box spirit. Money or the box with Pick n Pay ASAP. Friday on 702 Drive with John Perlman. T's and C's on primemediaplus.com.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
29 minutes after 10 o'clock. Let's listen to this WhatsApp voice note. I'm going to ask you guys to please wear your headphones, and then we'll get to the headlines and come back with some more calls and WhatsApps.
Hi there, Clement. Just with regards to the paramedics and driving of ambulance, without any advanced driving type of accreditation, that sounds a bit scary because I mean, the guys are expected to drive fast to get to, scenes of emergency. And I would take it for granted that there's a requirement, to have some sort of an advanced driving, skillful, tactful driving so that you don't endanger, other drivers, motorists. Thank you.
Yeah, Clement, roughly around 5 years ago, my little brother committed suicide. But before he passed on, he had eaten something, right? So we did call an ambulance. He was alive for maybe 3 hours after he took that substance. And then the ambulance just did not come. So we started to wait by the main road, hoping that the ambulance will come. And there was an ambulance that passed by. We stopped that ambulance, tried to get some assistance from it. So the driver was the only person there. So he told us that as per the law of this country, they are not allowed to take anyone from the road, especially if he's alone. And the unfortunate part, by the time that the one that we had called came, it was a little bit too late. So it goes to say that sometimes there's loss. Anyway, guys, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, that's quite hectic. All right, I'll get them to respond to some of that after the headlines. It's 10:31. Maki has the latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The 12 members of the South African National Defence Force arrested in connection with the murder of a Hawks investigator have been released on bail. The Randburg Magistrates Court granted them release on 10,000 rand bail each this morning following their arrest in June. The 12 are facing charges of murder and kidnapping after Frans Matiba was shot dead while travelling on the N1 near Hammanskraal in 2023. Staying in the courts, the state has been given 2 weeks to hand over full copies of the docket in its attempted murder case against alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Cat at Matlala. The controversial businessman made a brief appearance before the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. He's accused of conspiring to commit murder in the failed hit of his ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tobajane, in 2023. And in the UK, government has confirmed its readiness to start returning migrants arriving in small boats to France. This will be done within weeks under a new pilot scheme referred to as the One In, One Out deal. Those are the headlines, this Eyewitness News, and more at 11 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling in towards Modderfontein, we've got some delays on the N3 South. This is just as you approach Modderfontein Road. An accident has been reported there. Please be on the lookout. While traveling in Bedford View, another accident seen on the N3 South. This one happened just before Van Buren Road. It is causing delays as you come out of the Kilulis interchange. And speaking of the Kilulis turn-off, we've got delays towards this turn-off on the N12 as well as the R24 West from Edenvale Road. Please be on the lookout there. If you are traveling in four ways, faulty traffic lights at the intersection of Winnie Mandela Drive and Leslie are causing delays. And in the city of Tshwane, a slight backup on the R21 North as well as the N1 North. This is the Flying Saucer interchange, and that's due to the road wrecks that are taking place along this route. So please be on the lookout there and drive carefully. We'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
10:33. I'm hosting emergency medical service personnel on the Across the Desk feature, finding out more about the important, incredible work that they do. I've got your calls, Sean and Mfundo. I'll come to you in a moment. Owen, do you have rules as emergency medical service personnel not to take people on the road? So what is that a rule that exists? That does someone have to be from a house or unless, of course, it's an accident? How does it work?
So I think in that voice message, I would want to isolate. I think there are two cases that I would want to isolate. The first one would be the caller mentioned the phone for an ambulance for an poisoning incident. And if I recall right the facts, I think he waited more than 3 hours, he said. Those are the realities we do face. I wouldn't know which area he was, but in these big metros, such as your Joburg, because of the population, there's so much demand on resources. And always the demand is always more than what we have. That is what we had mentioned earlier, what we call a P1, that's life-threatening emergency. But the realities are, in metros, big metros where the demand surpasses supply, it might happen. You end up waiting so long because there are so many other emergencies that called in before yours, and there are just not enough resources. Okay? So that's very unfortunate, I should say. Your question you asked me, are we allowed to pick up patients by the road? In this voice note, what's interesting I need to highlight is the caller mentioned there was one person in the ambulance. By law, an ambulance should be manned by at least 2 qualified paramedics, right? And the idea is the one who's driving, and actually we don't have drivers in this industry. You're actually a qualified paramedic with a license, so you're not a driver. So you need one who's going to drive the vehicle and one at the back treating the patient. So from the merits of this case, my understanding is there's no medical personnel at the back to treat this guy's brother. So then that becomes, you can open medical litigation for yourself. That the patient is in your ambulance, how did they demise in your care? You are not rendering medical care. So in this case, it's very, very unfortunate for this family. But what the ambulance medic said on that day, unfortunately, yes, it is true. We are allowed to pick patients anyway.
Okay, got it. Let's go to Mfundo, who's calling us from Pretoria. Mfundo, hi.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Sure.
A wonderful program, and the medical emergency personnel are actually my heroes. I work in the industry. I'm a doctor myself. And whenever they come into our hospital, I get a feeling that here come our heroes. Those are the first guys to get there in time. Now, my comment and my question is, I hope that there is a mechanism to protect them while they are out on duty. In other words, from physical harm. Do they have any training for self-defense? That is one thing. The other thing, are they properly insured legally? Because that is a high-risk job. Anything can go wrong. And I want to presume that litigation can be a problem there as well.
Great.
So they are my heroes, but I would like them to be safer as well in the execution of their wonderful duties.
True, yeah. Mfundo, they are heroes indeed. Thank you so much for your call in Pretoria. Ntsapho, do you want to maybe talk about the self-defense one, and I'll get Shanelle to respond to the insurance. Do you need insurance? Do you ever get concerned that some people can maybe try and go for litigation? Because we've heard in Ntsapho of cases where you get attacked as emergency medical service personnel when you go to certain areas. I mean, it still surprises me that there are people who want to target the same people who are coming to help them. How do you guys deal with that?
That is a very challenge that we have at the moment of a safety in our field as a paramedic. Especially there are areas that you not go without police. Some of the delays are coming from those situations because we don't train to defend ourselves. We don't have that cause. Ours is to save the life. And it can take a lot. Now, if we can say, let's be trained to defend ourselves, that means when you arrive in a scene, you need to fight first. That is not our job and is not even our scope of practice. But what we look is if the scene is safe. If it's not safe, it's whereby you will see an ambulance turning back and running away. That is only our option that we have because of these attacks. And sometimes the attacks are coming from our communities. Wait for ambulance for more than 3 hours, as the voice note said. So those things are out of control. Especially in here in Gauteng.
Do they sometimes try to rob you guys as well?
Many times. One incident was very painful where they hijack an ambulance, take the colleagues and put them in a shady shack. So it's very painful when it comes in the issue of safe. Even now, the ambulance are having cameras. But the people are taking you out of those cameras. That's why we in other areas that we know that this is a red zone, we wait for police,
the police to come.
Even if it can be P1, person is dying, person is giving birth, we'll wait for police.
Sure.
If the police are attending the scene, we'll wait for them.
Yeah, and that time someone else is probably dying. Shanelle, the issue of insurance, do you guys need to insure yourselves? How do you deal with that?
So everyone that is qualified is registered with the Health Professionals Council of South Africa. So essentially that is sort of like our insurance. They are obviously, depending on whether you're in the right or wrong, they're supposed to back you up. I know a lot of companies, like my company, we have medical malpractice. So any medics that treat under our name, they're protected by our medical malpractice. Each company should have that. I know with cases like doctors, they're an independent entity, so they have their own medical malpractice. So it just depends on the company how much it's valued at.
Okay.
But we are insured.
All right. It's 19 minutes before 11 o'clock. Sean, Philemon, I see you guys. I'll come to you after the break.
Akwele.
Akwele.
Akweli.
Akwela.
Akwele.
Akwili.
Akwele.
No matter how you say it, one thing's for sure.
Aquele is South Africa's most loved water brand, refreshing you with pure natural spring water and delicious flavored sparkling drinks. From every sip to every smile, thank you Mzansi for making Aquele a part of your everyday moments. Aquele, spreading joy to South Africa naturally.
And they're off. Out front, it's Doped Up Glory, followed closely by Whipped Into Shape. Little Too Young making a surprising early push, just 2 years old and already on her second race this week. Duct Tape Dreams taking the outside lane, tongue-tied and terrified, but hey, she's fast when she's scared. Discarded Glory stumbles at the back, used to be a champ, now just waiting for the knackery truck to the glue factory. Halfway through, it's beaten again, cracking the whip literally, pushing through the pain barrier, eyes wide, heart-breaking, lungs bleeding. She doesn't know she can stop. Learned helplessness, they call it. We just call it racing. And at the final stretch, it's Doped Up Glory by a nose. She's done it. Oh wait, she's down. She's not getting up. Oh well.
Cruelty is staining horse racing. The NSPCA is calling for the industry to sign their racing code of conduct to hashtag Rein in the Pain. Show your support at nspca.co.za/Rein in the Pain.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age. Or now also in a no water needed fruity flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and phlegmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
17 minutes before 11 o'clock, medical emergency service personnel are the people I am hosting this morning on our Across the Desk feature. We're taking your calls on 011-883-0702. Sean, you're calling us from Craighall. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. How are you? Good?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Good. I just want to find out, Clement, is there an age limit to becoming a paramedic? I'm 51 and recently retrenched, and I was in a certain field where I had to train to be a first aider. I was a first aid level 3+. I was a first responder, and I really, really enjoyed it. I just want to find out from your panel if there's an age limit and where can one go and study to become a paramedic if there isn't an age limit.
All right.
Thanks, Clement. I'll listen on the radio.
Wonderful. Sean and Craighall, thank you. Owen, is there an age limit? At 50, can you still get into it? And where do people normally go to study? I imagine there are several schools for that.
Yeah, look, I don't want to really answer on behalf of the educational institutions on age limit. I wouldn't be too sure. If I have to weigh in on it, because now it's done through universities, right? My take is when you identify people who come with this kind of passion, these are the kind of people we really want in the industry. So I recommend he just gives it a try. If he stays in Craighall, I'm sure it's in Randburg. The closest university could be University of Johannesburg. Netcare also does the same training. I think those are the two closest to Randburg. So I'm sure you can just Google and find those two institutions.
Okay, got it. There was a question also about CPR. Is that should we know how to do that, Shanelle? While we wait, or what's your advice normally as emergency medical service personnel? Is if there's someone who is critical, should we try as their loved ones, maybe resuscitate them or just call the ambulance and stay away because I may make things worse?
Definitely. I think everybody, no matter who you are, should know how to do CPR.
Okay.
It should be something that is taught in schools, workplaces. Before you have children, you should have a course. Everyone should know how to do it. Thankfully, if you had to call in as a bystander into an emergency contact center and explain that this person is unconscious, you're not sure if they're breathing, you're not sure if they have a pulse, the call taker is trained to walk you through it. So they will tell you, this is how you need to check for a pulse, check if they're breathing, what kind of situation are you in? Okay, doesn't sound like the person has a heartbeat, let me tell you how to start CPR. So yes, you can be walked through it, but obviously if this is not your daily job, you are in that fight or flight mode. So you may not remember how to do that CPR when it comes time to that, even if you have learned it.
Okay.
So I think that's really important for all the call takers to be able to help talk through someone to do CPR.
Okay.
But yes, the earlier you start CPR, the more
better.
chance of you being able to successfully resuscitate that
Yeah.
person.
Okay. There's a question here in Ntsapho about just the common cases that you guys see. What are some of the common cases you get called for?
Common cases, it is an accident, medical, patient, yeah.
So someone who's been sick and not so much. So mostly you're saying it's accidents though?
Yeah, accident, I'm talking about where the car involved,
Yes.
step, where people will step.
Okay.
Yeah, then you respond. Then on medical, there are cases like diabetic, high blood, and other medical issues that you respond to them.
Okay, got it. It's 12 minutes before 11. We'll come back with some WhatsApps.
It took time to create the life you've built. Every milestone, every moment, you've earned it. Indra takes the time to understand what's priceless to you, tailoring insurance to match a life of distinction. True peace of mind comes from knowing that everything you've worked for is insured with precision. It starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindra.co.za. Indra Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
Seda Communications is a proudly black female-owned innovation company based in Gauteng and the Northern Cape, using tech, sustainability and entrepreneurship to drive real change. From robotics and coding training to eco-friendly branding like plantable name tags and recycled bags, Seda is all about impact with purpose. They even support last mile delivery and promote tools like the AI Toolkit by Dr. Alan Mutono to help people grow. Visit sedacommunications.co.za to learn more or partner with them today.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct, to give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comments@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 10 minutes before 11.
Good morning, Clement, and welcome to your guests. Lovely, lovely feature. I work in the animal welfare industry, and I'm an inspector. And on some weekends, I work on standby, and we also get called out for emergencies. Some emergencies relating to animals attacking people, some relating to just animals. And often we are also called out by the police to assist them when they want to make an arrest, and we have to remove the animals for them. So I know exactly what you guys go through. We see some really, really gruesome stuff, but there is nothing better than the feeling of knowing that you helped save somebody's life. There is nothing better. It makes it all worth it. So while everybody is running in the other direction, we are running upstream. Thank you for your service, ladies and gentlemen. Inspector Chivaviro.
Good morning, Clement, and good morning to your visitors. I just want to find out from your visitors as to when they get to an accident scene and they realize that, hey, this is a family member or a friend or simply someone that they know. what is their reaction towards that kind of a situation? And thank you very much. This is Thabo here from Zamdela. Thank you.
Morning, Clement. My question is, in the event of a major accident, you see there's various ambulances from different companies. So when they ferry people to hospitals, do they establish if this person has a medical aid so that they can, if it's a Netcare ambulance, they then take them to Netcare, or how do they know? I mean, a person can't speak and they are in a serious accident. Where do they take them? Do they take them to the private facility, or do they take them to a government facility? I'll listen on the radio. Thank you. Walter from Cape Town.
Hi, Clement. Please ask your guests, how do they reach patients like at informal settlements where the vehicles can't reach? They have to go by foot. And as the second question, when they get to a scene and the patient is, for instance, the criminal or someone who did something really bad, do they feel like they want to, do they get an option if they want to help the person or not?
Okay. Great questions there. All right, there are so many. Let me divide them for you guys. So how do you reach informal settlements? And also the question of criminals. I'll give that to you, Ntsapho. And then maybe, Owen, you can respond to how do you establish if the people have medical aid and how you deal with that. And then there was a question about what do you do if you arrive and you find someone you know, maybe a neighbor, a relative. Have you guys ever been in any of that situation where you get on the scene and suddenly, oh, there's a cousin or a neighbor or a friend's friend? Have you ever been in a situation like that? But let's start, Ntsapho, with the question around informal settlements. And when you get there and maybe that was a criminal who is injured, what do you do?
As our scope of practice, we treat everybody. If it's a criminal, not criminal, our concern is to save the life. Yeah, it's very difficult situation to respond in a formal settlement. Most of the time is where the robberies are happening because you need to left the ambulance. Some formal settlement even is difficult, even to take the stretcher to go to the patient. You need to use zip stretcher. And it's difficult in some situation. You'll find that you'll walk maybe 500 meters and that person is only two standby. The one that call ambulance and maybe is a family member. There's no people around and the person is heavy. And you'll need help, even to move around, formal settlement, electricity, you need to look, you jump, those kind of risky. You can end up those hazard. But because we want to save, end up past those circumstances to get to the patient. But it's very difficult to respond in those
areas.
And
Owen, the question about medical aid and how do you know where do I take this person?
Yeah, it's a very those challenging situations. In this case, you're saying the patient can't talk. So the best we could do there is at least look in your wallet. If we can identify any card. Some of these new smartphones, you have this emergency button. When you press, you get personal information. In the event that you don't have evidence that they might be under any health insurance or medical aid, you might opt to maybe taking them to state. So at least when they wake up, they're not faced with high medical bills. It's best then if to answer, maybe to have your medical aid card where it's very easily accessible.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe save it on your phone,
wallet,
on your wallet.
It helps.
Okay.
But I know some cards these days are now digital. They don't have physical cards. So at least by phone, I think most smartphones have where you save your contact information. Yeah.
Okay. Shanelle?
So the question was, what do we do if we get to a scene and it's someone we know or family
Have you been even in that situation?
I have.
Oh,
Luckily, not a close
Okay.
family member. I mean, I have treated family members, but no one that was serious enough to cause a rattle within me, basically. You treat it like you would treat any other patient. Obviously, when you see it, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is someone I know. And all these thoughts are going to run through your head. What if I cause more harm? Like, you start doubting yourself. But the main thing is to just keep calm. Again, if you freak out, they freak out. So you treat them like any other patient. You do what you can for them. There isn't really a rule in the emergency world on the road that is at least against treating your own family members or friends.
Do you guys get family members who often call in even when you're off because they were
yes, yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna call an ambulance, but
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
call Shanelle,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
you're off that day.
People you haven't spoken to for years. So, we know you're in this field. So I just
Yeah.
want to, I've got this pain. And
Right here.
Right here. And it's, it's been a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, friend, you should just go to
Just
the
go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it happens a lot. Oh, guys, Owen, Shanelle, and Ntsapho, thank you so much for joining us. You guys are our heroes. You really are the people who literally save our lives. So we really appreciate the work that you do. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much for having us, Clement. It was awesome.
2 minutes before 11.
Dreaming of a tropical escape? World Leisure Holidays has your ticket to paradise with exclusive getaways to the Indian Ocean Islands. From the beaches of Mauritius and the Maldives to the charm of Madagascar, Seychelles, Zanzibar, and more, your dream destination awaits. Take advantage of early bird specials and pay stay offers. Call 011-285-2500 and mention 702 for a mystery discount. Or follow us on social media or contact your nearest travel professional. Start planning your escape today. T's and C's apply.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care? Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Checkers XXL Savings is on with the XXL Jackpot competition. New week, new deals, new jackpot. This week, save on Escort Back Diced Round Cut or Shoulder Bacon 200 grams, any 4 for 100 Rand. And Cape Point Frozen King Prawns, 700 grams for $199.99. Remember, buy any 3 participating products and get a scratch card to enter. Deals valid until Sunday at Checkers.
Mzansi, the Powerball jackpot guaranteed at 65 million Rand is waiting to be won this Friday. That's right. Play Powerball for the guaranteed 65 million Rand jackpot today and you could win the multi-millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old to play responsibly. eTuba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
702 family, there's a 702 family gathering, so please come and walk with us and meet the 702 family, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. 702 Walk the Talk hits the streets on Sunday, the 27th of July. I will be there. The question is, will you? It's a chance for us to meet each other, enjoy the fun and the bars of walking together. You'll be entertained along the way by the djembe drums, brass bands, dancers, stilt walkers, even surprise appearances by Zola and Ishmael along the way, thanks to Made in Mzansi. Plus, more on-stage entertainment at the finish line. Choose your distance from 8 kilometers, the 6.7 kilometer for Mandela Manto, the family-friendly 4 kilometers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for kids under 12. Register now on primemediaplus.com. Come and walk with the 702 family and experience the vibe. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Mhlawuli.
We begin in the courts where the 12 members of the South African National Defence Force arrested in connection with the murder of a Hawks investigator have been released on bail. The Randburg Magistrates Court granted them release on 10,000 Rand bail each this morning following their arrest in June. The 12 are facing charges of murder and kidnapping after Frans Matipa was shot dead while travelling on the N1 near Hammanskraal in 2023. At the time of his murder, Matipa was investigating the Army Special Forces link to a kidnapping case and possibly a double murder. Staying in the courts, the state has been given 2 weeks to hand over full copies of the docket in its attempted murder case against alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Ket Matlala. The controversial businessman made a brief appearance before the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. He's accused of conspiring to commit murder in the failed hit of his ex-girlfriend, actress Tebogo Tobejane, in 2023. Zoleka Kodashe has more.
Tenderpreneur Vusmusi Ket Matlala walked into the packed court in handcuffs while the room was heavily guarded by members of the Special Task Force. The court has been hearing arguments by the state and the defense on the dockets. Matlala's legal counsel is seeking the full disclosure of the docket, including parts B and C. They argue that only sections of Part A have been disclosed and accuse the state of trying to ambush them in the case. The state has now been given a deadline to hand over copies of the full docket. The matter will return to court on the 26th of August. Zoleka Kodashe, Eyewitness News, Alexandra Magistrates Court.
We move to the capital where the Interministerial Committee working on the National Dialogue is looking to bring down its estimated 700 million rand price tag. This follows concerns raised about the costs of the dialogue, which will feature organizations, businesses and people from all walks of life. Earlier this year, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the dialogue will be held in August to discuss the country's issues to try and find solutions. Today, Ramaphosa is meeting with the Eminent Persons Group at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. The Eminent Persons Group is made up of high-profile individuals who have been chosen to champion the dialogue. Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie says he believes whatever the dialogue ends up costing, South Africans will receive value for money.
The people must be honest. We were called in by the President of the country. And the President of the country called us. He said, this dialogue is too expensive in its current price. We must get together, the IMC, and they must make it cheaper. Every minister that has the truth can testify to what I'm telling you. So he himself was not happy with the 700 million price tag.
An investigation by local and international law enforcement agencies has blown the lid on a transnational kidnapping syndicate. This follows the rescue of a businessman who was kidnapped for a 15 million rand ransom in May this year. At the center of it is a Mozambican kingpin who was arrested yesterday at his property in Green Hills. Jabli Lembata has the story.
Local authorities were able to nab the suspects by tracing them through cryptocurrency linked to Dubai and Mozambique. Earlier in the week, investigators were led to Zola, Soweto, where one of the kidnappers was arrested and information about the ransom negotiations was found on his phone. His arrest also led police to a house where the 60-year-old victim was kept. Yesterday, police pounced on them and 2 of the suspects were killed during a shootout with officers. 2 suspects, including the kingpin, were arrested and investigations continue. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
Political parties across the board have criticized a fraud prevention review currently being undertaken by the South African Social Security Agency when it's severely understaffed. The review, meant to identify fraudulent beneficiaries, is causing mayhem at SASSA offices countrywide as vulnerable people are forced to queue for days to verify their details. Social Development Minister Sisisi Dolashe has, however, appealed to grant beneficiaries to bear down and comply, saying SASSA is throwing all its resources at the process. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The National Treasury has put SASSA on strict terms to root out the rot or face money transfers being frozen. But Chairperson of Parliament's Social Development Committee, the DA's Bridget Masango, says a review of this nature can't be successful if it's dependent on other departments whose systems are not in order, and SASSA is 50% understaffed.
To predicate funding on flawless integration with these databases without providing operational support or transition measures is setting SASSA up for failure.
The EFF's Paul Nita has blamed SASSA's systemic problems on weak systems, poor oversight and political neglect.
The situation at SASSA is a national disgrace. The Social Relief of Distress, SRD grant, meant to provide emergency aid, is now riddled with fraud.
Rise Mzansi's Makashule Ghana says the verification process is causing panic that people won't get their grants and better communication with those affected is needed. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
In the UK, government has confirmed its readiness to start returning migrants arriving in small boats to France. This will be done within weeks under a new pilot scheme referred to as the one in, one out deal. Under the deal, some arrivals in the UK will be returned to France, and in exchange, the UK will accept an equivalent number of asylum seekers subject to security checks. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer made the announcement while speaking alongside French President Emmanuel Macron at the end of a 3-day state visit.
This will show others trying to make the same journey that it will be in vain, and the jobs they've been promised in the UK will no longer exist because of the nationwide crackdown we're delivering on illegal working, which is on a completely unprecedented scale. The President and I have agreed that this pilot will be implemented in coming weeks.
Gold's trading at $3,334.30 an ounce. The rand's at 17.84 to the dollar, at 24.15 to the pound, at 20.85 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.71 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 South. This is in the Limbo Park area due to an accident near Motorfontein Road while travelling on the N12 as well as the R24 west bumper to bumper traffic between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange, and that's due to road wrecks that are taking place along that route.
A look at your weather. Clear skies in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures will peak at highs at alternating highs of 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The 12 members of the South African National Defence Force arrested in connection with the murder of a Hawks investigator have been released on bail.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Ten minutes after 11 o'clock, Dumelang, Sanbonani, Bunju, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela show on this beautiful Friday morning. We're going to get into our relationship feature in a moment, but I want to plug you onto something. So coming up this hour, we're celebrating 30 years of real cashback with Clicks Club Card this week. I want you to tell us about a time your club card cashback came through for you. Maybe it helped cover your cold and flu meds, topped up baby supplies, or maybe you scored you that self-care treat that you needed. I want you to WhatsApp us your story on 072-702-1702 and you could win 2,500 Rand in Clicks Club Card cashback loaded straight onto your club card. So please include your name and your ID number when you share that story with us, and we could be calling you back. So it's very easy. Just send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702 telling us about a time when your club card cashback came through for you. What did it help you cover? Did you get some meds? Did you top up on some baby supplies? You scored that self-care treat that you needed? Send us your name and your ID number together with that story and we could call you back. Thanks to Clicks, feel good, pay less. Only on 702. T's and C's apply. let's get into our relationship and sex feature.
Relationship issues
Relationship talk.
on 702.
So, this is Adult Radio, and today we are talking about the art of seduction. How to master the art of seduction. Do you ever seduce your partner? And how do you do it? Or do you have a partner that knows how to seduce you? Right? Seduction is all about enhancing the natural allure that exists between partners. Right? It adds excitement in your marriage or relationship. It keeps that passion alive. You're fostering that deeper emotional connection and shared intimacy. So it's a way to actually express your desire and keep the romance flourishing. And seduction is an art, right? It is a slow art that ignites imagination, it ignites passion, lust, and thrill. And sometimes seduction can be subtle, can be the subtle art of attraction that binds you and your partner together. When approached with authenticity and respect, it really can deepen connection and keep the spark alive in a relationship. And isn't that what we all want, to keep that spark alive in a relationship? So, have you mastered the art of seduction? Do you seduce your partner? What are your go-to seduction tricks? Do you want to know how to be more seductive to your partner? This is a conversation we're having around mastering the art of seduction. So, I want you to share your thoughts with us, your inputs. Maybe you need some advice from my guest on how you can just add that spark in your relationship through the art of seduction. You can call on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Lisa Welsh is a sex educator and founder of Save That Spark. Lisa, welcome back to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. What an absolute pleasure to be here with you.
No, always love having you on the show. So, there was a lot of interest, I must say, particularly from the ladies when I announced that we're going to talk about the art of seduction. But I think gentlemen need to be excited about this topic as well, because this is an opportunity for them as well to learn how to be seductive towards their partners. But before we got through how to do it, how it helps relationships, let's maybe define what seduction is. Is it about turning someone on? How do we exactly define seduction in the context of our conversation today?
That is a good question. And I understand why the ladies are excited about it, because the idea of being seduced is wonderful. Because if we define seduction, it is that art of drawing someone in through your presence, which we don't have presence anymore. Like cell phones are in the way, but it's like your presence, your attention, your emotional attunement to that person. It's like you're paying full attention. And through that, you create this kind of sense of connection, possibility, like what could happen. You're making that other person feel like they are the only person in the room, the only person that you're interested in. And you do that with your body, with your words. And it's not just about how they look. When you're seducing somebody, you are showing you're interested in the energy, like the essence, like it's really inviting, teasing, and it can be subtle, like you said, it can be playful, it can be more intense, but it's making that person feel chosen. And that is what makes it so exciting.
And is it something that is only applicable to certain couples and not the others? In other words, does every relationship need, the couple to be seductive towards each other to keep the spark alive?
Well, it's not an essential component, but it is exciting. So it keeps the desire alive, like you said, right? It's a great way to remind each other that you're choosing them, that you want them, right? That you see them as a hot-blooded human that you want to be with. So it just helps if instead of relationships becoming functional and boring and schedules, responsibility, routine, this is bringing back that mystery, that attention, that play that just says, you're my person. Like, I want to be with you. I see you as my lover, not only my co-parent, my roommate, my colleague, the person who has to pay the bills with me. Instead, it's keeping the intimacy alive. So it's like those little, it's the friction, the tension, the eye contact, the lingering touches in the kitchen even. So it's just saying, I want you still. So yeah, we can say you don't have to have that, but I mean, it's very nice to have it.
Yeah. So can seduction be both emotional as well as physical?
Definitely. In fact, it can be more emotional than physical. It's like the invitation. It's like, haha, I see you like this. And it helps us to see ourselves like that. It reminds us that we are still, we still got it. And yeah, that helps you move towards the physical. But it's definitely a mixture of both.
So how much of seduction then is about how you feel about yourself rather than what you do to someone else? Like, is it more about, you, some aspects of it about you, or mostly about the next person that you are seducing?
That's a good question. I think in order to be seductive, you have to be in a good mindset. If you are trying to seduce somebody, then you're seeing that in them. And then therefore you see that in yourself. Like, in order to be in the mood where you're able to give all of your attention and presence and see all of that great stuff in the person your attentions are directed at, then yes, you would also need to be in touch with that aspect of yourself. So it's like heightening the energy for everybody involved.
I mean, the seduction, especially when it comes to older couples, and not even just older couples. I think, Lisa, when people begin to relax in the relationship and they think, we've been together for 5 years or 10 years, 20 years, must I still try and be seductive towards my partner, my spouse? So we often get to a point where we relax in relationships and we start neglecting the importance of just getting each other excited, even through seduction. And this happens a lot in long-term relationships. Why is seduction often neglected by couples in long-term relationships?
Yeah. It's so easy to let it go and to get comfortable and just get in the rut. It takes effort to be seductive, right? And that effort, sometimes we don't value it. We just carry on, life gets busy, and, really, do I have to put on my perfume every day for you? It's small things, but it can be really small gestures. You don't have to be wearing the fancy lingerie every day or having these big grand gestures, but it is about presence. You can seduce your long-term partner by putting your phone down and looking them in the eye when you ask them a question, right? Making real eye contact, touching their arm while they are talking, being kind, saying something unexpected instead of falling into default patterns of just nagging or resentment. So it's not just about trying to get them into bed. That's not the only point of seduction. It's to make them feel seen, right? That is really the essence. If we think about that, looking at your partner, seeing that they've had a really incredibly busy day and maybe they've got like baby food on their jumper, they're looking a mess, they're tired. And it's instead of thinking, why don't they make more of an effort? See them for who they are, say, I've run a bath for you. You look so cute in those pajama trousers, it's like thinking of ways that you can help them be seen, reignite that curiosity, and remind them that you still see them as your lover.
Okay.
So it does take effort, but it's definitely worth it. It's about closeness.
Okay. 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Do you still seduce your partner even after so many years of being together? Does your partner still seduce you? As Lisa says, this is not just about getting someone to be intimate with you, your partner to get to bed with you, but it's more than that. And that's why seduction can be both emotional as well as physical. Do you still do it? Is your partner now too relaxed in the relationship? And you can see that we're beginning to neglect the art of seduction. And I suppose what's weird here is sometimes you meet people who are so romantic and so seductive in the beginning because suppose they're trying to impress you and but the minute you are settled and we're together for a while, you miss that. Because you wonder, but where's that person? Where's that guy? Where's that lady that used to be so passionate, that used to be so seductive, used to send me these saucy messages while I'm at work and I can't wait to get home? How do you revive that in your relationship? Huh? It's 21 after 11. Send me a WhatsApp.
John Perlman.
Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
I have to say, I don't recall for many years now seeing a JMPD officer or two at one of these trouble spots trying to help sort it out. How exactly does the JMPD see its role?
Yes, with our mandates, of course, as Metro Police, we have 3 core mandates, one being crime prevention, other bylaw enforcement, and thirdly, traffic management, which of course then includes controlling of traffic within the city of Johannesburg. The challenge is with the manpower that we do have within the JMPD.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
Unfold extraordinary with the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 512 gig. Get it on a 6 gig Red Core plan from 1749 per month over 36 months. Experience cinematic viewing, seamless multitasking, and next level productivity. Pre-order yours today from Vodacom, Mzansi's winning 5G network. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Calling all football fans. Score goals galore with Hollywood bets in a super football showdown. The finest clubs in the world will go head-to-head to be crowned the best of the best. Ready for your chance to strike it big? Get in on the thrilling action and take a shot at a share of 100,000 Rand in cash or betting vouchers. Bet 10 Rand or more on any club World Cup fixture between June and July 2025. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Welcome to Nando's Customer Care. How can I help you?
Finally, can I actually just speak to the manager? It's about the chicken. Why did you marinate it for 24 hours? 24 hours, yes, 86,400 seconds to marinate. Why? Well, I mean, it is really tender, juicy, and that delicious Nando's peri-peri flavor just warms me up. And then you add any 3 sharing sides, and I guess, well, there is nothing like it. But that is my complaint. I can't complain.
Nando's, fire it up.
702 was in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Grootes, discussing why context matters in financial advice.
As people go through different phases and stages in their lives, new dreams and goals come to the fore. When you get married, have children, you get divorced, want to get, immigrate, have to care for your parents, are nearing retirement or just change jobs, all of these things have a significant impact on your financial plan that require the help of a respected financial advisor to guide you through the changes. From an investments perspective, we also believe that financial advisors play a key role in managing their clients' emotions and investing behavior. A key ingredient in investment success is the ability to remain calm when others are panicking, to remain invested when others are disinvesting or moving their money to safer asset classes only to reinvest when it's too late, and then they destroy value in the process.
Visit momentum.co.za for more info. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Relationship issues?
Relationship talk.
On 702.
25 minutes after 11 o'clock, we're talking about how to master the art of seduction for your boo, for your spouse, for your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner. Do you still do that? Or do you think you've gotten to a point where we're not focusing on the kids, or we're focusing on other things and not so much on us? And maybe you used to do that when you were young in this relationship or marriage. What made it stop? And if many years later you're still able to seduce each other, please let us know how you go about doing it. Maybe you can give some tips to some of the listeners who have lost that in their relationships and they want to try and reestablish it. Let's go to your calls now. Rorisang, you're calling us from Pretoria East. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clem, and thank you for this topic. I'm stressed, Clem, because really the cold this winter, winter paralyzes me. So you'll be wearing layers and layers of clothes. The only time you're warm, you're in the fire, by the fireplace, and by the fireplace you're sitting with the whole family, the kids and all.
Yeah.
But the moment you move to the bedroom, you put on layers and layers of clothes, and then your partner doesn't want the electric blanket because for one it's just too hot. So it's just...
There's no time for seduction there. Okay, but Rorisang, what are you doing with clothes in bed when you're sleeping with your partner?
No, it's winter, bruh.
But your partner is there to warm you up, no?
and he's warm. I can't deny it. But when you jump into that bed and there's no electric blanket on, no.
But there are electric blankets also that like they warm up different sides of the bed. But if you go for that one, then there's no even cuddling, or you are on your side.
Exactly, you're on your side, and that's the problem. You see?
Yeah. Okay.
I need help. I don't know.
All right, Rorisa in Pretoria thank you for your call. Lisa, it's cold. People don't have time for cuddles and seductions when it's cold. But I suppose seduction is broader than just even like, let me touch you before, or cuddle. I mean, it could be saucy messages that you send to your partner while they're at work, and you telling them about how you can't wait to see them later on. It could be just a conversation you have and you're looking at each other right in the eyes. And I mean, those are the kind of things, right, that still with your layers and layers of clothes while you're in bed, you can still enjoy some seduction without getting you cold.
That's true. You're absolutely right. You can use your voice and your eye contact. But let's think about this. If we imagine it's a cold place, but you've got a fire going and you're sharing a blanket and you're snuggling up together. I know it's cold, but what if you kind of just make a little bit of friction? You're like warming each other up a little, slowly removing the layers as you kind of get customized under the blanket. So you can make it work to your advantage. And like a little bit of cold can kind of wake you up so you're fully present. So kind of go with it. When you slip into the bed first of all and it's like, oh, cold, then why not make some of your own heat? I think this is just
make
something
your own
we can
heat.
work with.
I love
Keep
that.
your socks on.
I love that. Okay, so what are some of the ways though people can become more seductive in their relationships? Like, can you use stuff like everyday activities, like, I don't know, cooking together, maybe as an act of seduction? So what are the ways that our listeners can consider?
Definitely, that is a great one. Yeah, so seductive behavior in general is just, I'm going to sound like I'm repeating myself here, but being present. Like, what are you doing? How can you be more present? Like, what are you already doing together? Certainly using messages like WhatsApps. If you're normally WhatsApping and it's kind of like a, everyday bit of a grumble, or please pick up the breads and don't forget this and that, how can you be more present and make that an area of seduction? Because you can seduce somebody via text message. That is completely valid. It's thinking about how to make that person feel special. So it's just putting in a little bit more effort. Doesn't have to cost money, but what can you do in your everyday life, right? So a cheeky text, a compliment, just trying to avoid talking about chores for one day, a playful nudge. Like you can seduce each other while the kids are there. They don't even need to know, Say you're at Spur and you're looking at each other over the table. You can like do a little touch under the table, toes together. You know what I mean? It can be at a restaurant. It can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be obvious. It's just a moment of connection between the two of you. It's like reigniting that spark. So it's finding the moments.
Okay. And for single people, like, how can a single person tap into their seductive energy, especially with someone they don't particularly know that well?
Yeah. Oh, you absolutely can. This is a great way to kind of figure out if somebody is interested. So if you've noticed somebody, maybe you're at a bar or maybe it's somebody at work, you just want to start carefully, just tentatively, starting with eye contact, like maybe a warm smile and some casual conversation, and keep it light initially and notice how they respond to you. So you're putting your attention on somebody, but you're not going all in. You're putting attention so that they know that you've noticed them and seeing how they respond. Do they lean into you? If they do, can you lean in a little bit more? So it's taking your time. It's being gentle and playful with it. Obviously, consent is everything here, but absolutely, you can slowly seduce somebody. You can seduce somebody from across the room. Nobody else needs to notice, but the two of you, maybe you've made the eye contact, you're feeling the sparks. It's like the stuff we've seen in the movies. It does happen. It actually does happen.
Oh, so when you're in places and people like look at you, and could it be that some of them are trying to seduce? Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, maybe they think you look like someone else. Like, am I naive?
Or maybe they're like, is that Clement? Oh my goodness, is it Clement over there?
Or is it seduction? All right, it's 11:31. Let's get the latest now with this year's headline. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation on our relationship and sex feature. It's Adult Radio. We're talking about how to master the art of seduction for you and your partner. When you get home tonight, it's called think of something. And maybe Lisa can give you some advice here on what you can do maybe tonight if you want to try and be seductive to your partner, your boo, on this Friday cold night. Khomotso, what's in the headlines? Hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the outcomes of the national dialogue cannot supersede the country's constitution. Ramaphosa is currently at the Union Buildings meeting with the Eminent Persons Group, which will lead the dialogue across the country. The state has been given 2 weeks to hand over full copies of the docket in its attempted murder case against alleged crime kingpin Vusmuzi Kat Matlala. The controversial businessman made a brief appearance before the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. And in the UK, the Chinese government has denied asking firms to illegally collect and store the personal information of TikTok users. This
and Main Reef Road is also queuing traffic on the M1 both directions at the double-decker section due to roadworks, and more roadworks are taking place in Bedford View along the N3 North, right near the Kilulis interchange. Delays on the N3 North as well as on the R24 West between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange. If you are traveling in Tembisa, please be on the lookout for some delays on Olifantsfontein Road approaching the R21 exit, and traffic lights are still out of order in four ways at Winnie Mandela Drive and Leslie. They're also out in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek Road. While traveling in Lone Hill, we've got delays along Main Road due to a major accident seen along this route just as you approach Witkoppen Road. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care. Otherwise, I'm Amo Ramela with your last traffic report. Karabo Jali will continue walking the talk with you from the top of the hour onwards. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival presents 3 unforgettable days deep in the heart and art of jazz from the 26th, the 27th, and 28th of September. Oma Sangare, Ababemu, Jasmine Horn, Silent Ngo, and the Noisemakers, Nechpong Trio, Michelle Degioshelo, Velamsini, Gabi Matuba, and over 50 world-class acts will be ready to welcome you and yours to 4 magnificent stages of the Sandton Convention Center. Take me there. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster now.
Rise to the challenge in Climb and Conquer, Betway's latest 50 million Rand prize giveaway. Climb our leaderboards until 27 July with bets on sports, slots, table, crash games, and more. Earn points for every bet and multiply them by betting every day. Reach for the top spots and stand to drive away in one of 8 brand new cars. Plus, you could win constant cash and bonus prizes. Only at Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to participate. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
So, Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to rebuy cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success. Geared for you.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
on 702.
All right, 25 minutes before 12 o'clock, we are discussing the art of seduction on our relationship and sex feature. It's Adult Radio this hour. Alisa Welsh is a sex educator and founder of Save That Spark, and she's been guiding us through what seduction really is, how, you can try it if you want to revive that spark in your relationship, in your marriage. Do you ever seduce your partner? How do you do it? Do you have your partner that knows how to seduce you, knows what buttons to press? Let us know on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Lerato, you're calling us from the Johannesburg CBD. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm good. Go ahead.
I'm good, thanks. So
I think I've been struggling with the seduction. At
Mm.
the beginning of the relationship, it was easier because the response was also positive and it gave me more encouragement and it was more playful. But as the relationship has progressed, it's become a bit difficult because I'm just not sure if I'll get the same response I used to get. I think I've tried a few times where the response is just not the same. So I've become a bit more hesitant about doing it. Are there any ways of
Mm.
gaining confidence again and also just quipping his curiosity again?
Yes, yes. How long have you guys been together?
It's been 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've tried it, but it's not reciprocated. It's yeah. Like, what do you think has changed the dynamic as well, Lerato? Are there kids involved in the mix? Is it because did you guys get busy with work? Do you now live together? What do you think changed it from the fun in the beginning to now this relaxing part?
He's been under a lot of stress.
Okay.
But I don't know if also maybe he's also just used to it. He's just used to
Yes.
he knows what he's gonna get out of it.
Mm.
If it's that it's used to my body or he just it's like I say, maybe he just knows knowing what you're gonna get at the end of.
Yeah. Oh, Lerato, the line is breaking there. But anyway, I think we got the point. Lisa, Lerato says, yeah, it was easy to be playful and seductive in the early stages, but now it's become a bit tricky, and she's asking if there's ways she can try and do this because it looks like the partner hasn't reciprocated, and and I mean 3 years, that's still early, no?
It is still early, but I just want to say awesome Lorato for calling in with this because it takes courage, it's vulnerability. So I think it is normal to feel the shift, even though, yes, 3 years might not seem like a lot, but it can still be a lot. So let's just think in the beginning, everything is new and exciting. There's mystery and things do change over time. So firstly, I just want to say, Lorato, this is not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It just shows that you're in a new chapter. So I want to suggest that try to shift your focus. So instead of trying to get a response from him, I'm feeling hesitant, understandably, try instead to spark connection. We're in a new chapter, we need new tools. So have a think about what makes him feel good these days. Has something shifted? Maybe he's got different responsibilities. Maybe there's something on his mind. What do you know that you've learned about him over the last 3 years that you could think, okay, I know that this would make him feel good? And then, maybe even more importantly, what makes you feel more confident and alive again? Is there something that you can do that maybe you haven't done for a while to take care of yourself and make you feel good? Maybe it's spending time with some friends you haven't seen, or maybe it's moving your body more. Maybe it's just doing something to just reconnect with your own pleasure, because that shift in your energy is what then draws him in again, right? So it's so subtle and energetic. The stuff can't be faked. So it's like, what can you do to switch yourself on that will bring his curiosity? So what is turning you on outside of the bedroom as well? What could make you feel sexy? And maybe ask him as well. Ask him what might make him feel sexy. You might be surprised by what he says. So yeah, know your worth. Know that you don't need a reaction, because sometimes you don't know actually what's happening with him in his day-to-day life, that it doesn't necessarily reflect on you. So working on your energy and your presence and your playfulness, then I think you'll start to see a difference.
Let's go to some WhatsApps.
Thank you so much, Clement. I'm traveling today to go see my man. We are in a long distance relationship, and I will be listening in for all the tips on how I can seduce him and spice up our love life. Thank you.
Ooh, okay. It's going down today, Lisa. Let us know how it goes. Let us know how it goes. I hope you're going to have lots of fun with your partner. Here's another one.
Hi, good morning to everyone and good morning to the listeners. I hope everyone is doing well and enjoying their Friday. I just wanted to ask, because this is a very interesting topic and I can relate, because I've been staying with my partner for 5 years now. And by staying, I mean staying together. And a lot has happened, life is life. But what I would like to know is that how do you bring up like how do you seduce your partner without looking desperate? Do you understand? Because sometimes you find quotes and advices or people around you telling you, no, don't do it too much. You should give your partner some space. You're going to look desperate. You should have your own life outside of the relationship. Like my partner and I are like best friends, but then it has gotten to a point where we're really, really comfortable with each other, that seducing each other is like something that sometimes I don't even think about it, to be honest. That's how
Yes.
comfortable I am. So my question is, how do you do it without looking desperate? And how do you do it? How do you bring it back after 5 years without shocking the other person, basically?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a good question, Lisa. And I want you to.
Oh, good questions. Okay, so let's start with the whole thing about not wanting to look desperate. I get that. And it's tricky, but I think it's because we put seduction in this box of like we think seduction means wearing like stockings and stilettos and red lipstick, but it doesn't have to be like that. So you want to feel desired, but you don't want to look like you're begging for attention, right? So try thinking of it this way. Seduction isn't about chasing. It's about inviting. So you don't need to be obvious or over the top. You just shift your energy subtly. They'll feel it. You don't necessarily have to do much more than making eye contact or just showing up more playfully. Like that shift in your energy instead of, so if you've had a really busy day, it's hectic and you're feeling stressed, what can you do to shift your energy before you connect with your partner? Maybe it's taking a shower, changing your clothes, jumping up and down, shaking your body out like a rag doll for a while, just to like bring a different vibe. And that's going to remind your partner that, oh, here she is and she's alive, right? And then just being interested. So if your partner's telling you about their day, I think we're often very, very guilty of not really listening, being on our phone. I know I do that. Put your phone down, look at them, listen, respond authentically. So this isn't about being desperate. It's about showing them that I'm interested in you. I want to know about your day. Oh, would you like me to rub your shoulders? But it doesn't have to be like, let's lie down and get out the oils and light the candles. It's just like moments without pressure, without any particular goal, to just shift the energy. And so to bring that into the besties, because it's similar in a way, because if you're besties, you just feel like this is great. What do we need to change? But like you said, the spark can sometimes be difficult. At least you have got the trust, the laughter, the comfort. You've got a massively strong foundation. So what can you do to just shift the energy slightly to be a little bit spicier? It could be a compliment that goes a little bit deeper, like, oh, your voice sounds so hot when you say that. Or, oh, you look so cute when you did this, So you're being like a little bit more sensual or a little bit more intentional than usual, whether you're touching them, maybe you're lingering with the touch or just saying something, there's just a subtle edge to what you're doing. So you don't need to stop being besties, but just hug a little bit longer, hold the gaze a little bit longer. You're creating like the date moments. Maybe you're wearing something a little bit different. Maybe you do put on the red lipstick and it's just like a reminder like, oh, I forgot that you were also my lover, So it's making sure that you're layering in things that remind you you're not just friends. Being friends is amazing, but you're not forcing anything. You're just adding more intentionality and you're inviting that sexier connection.
Another anonymous says, Clement, what do you do when you just have a partner that doesn't like touchy and is comfortable in bed and with lights off, and you try to even hug and it feels weird, and a kiss is like he wants to run away? No. Okay, how do you get some? Because I suppose maybe the next person, the anonymous's partner, is just awkward around these things, never knows how to respond. I mean, Anonymous says, when she tries to kiss him, it's like he wants to run away. So that can be difficult to be intimate with someone like that, because Anonymous does want the touchy stuff, but the other person is struggling with that. Any advice for Anonymous? Where to begin? Maybe with the small things? I mean, she is not asking for a lot. She's just like wants to hug his partner and kiss him.
Well, no, that it can be really painful. That sounds painful. So the listener is wanting that closeness, and having a partner pull away is difficult. So I would say in this situation, you need to look deeper. Like, what is the reason why that person doesn't want to be touched? Is it stress? Maybe there's trauma, physical discomfort. Maybe there's disconnection. Maybe that it's worth looking at that because most people who are in a healthy space and in a healthy state of mind, of mental health, are open to being touched. Not everybody. It could be some neurospiciness going on there. So I wouldn't start with seduction. I would start with safety and a conversation, just trying to understand what's happening. So being honest, like I've noticed that you pull away when I touch you. So can we talk about that? And then just listen without trying to fix, just being present and understanding what is happening. Because sometimes people avoid touch because they feel pressured to have sex. This happens often with women where, say, their husband will give them a pat on the bum and they kind of bristle and they clam up and they don't want that touch because they feel like that is a pressure to leading to sex. They feel like that is some kind of initiation. So one way you could potentially rebuild trust is by building in affection and touch with no agenda so that there's no, it doesn't mean that if I touch you on the thigh, I'm going to try and get you into bed in 10 minutes. So if they feel comfortable, a simple hug, hand on the shoulder, sitting next to each other closely, let them set the pace. But definitely have a conversation and maybe seduction, it's not the right time for that at this stage.
Okay, 12 minutes before 12. More WhatsApps and calls after this.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
With 50% off on limited Tennis Town tickets, no wonder Amex card members are so thrilled. Enjoy a world-class tennis experience at Monte Casino between 11 and 13 July 2025. Buy your tickets for Amex Tennis Town online today at howler.co.za for the Championships Wimbledon experience with the Mzansi advantage. Tennis is better with Amex.
Want to celebrate Women's Day in style? Well, then get your tickets as Grammy Award-winning singers Anthony Hamilton and Joe Thomas come together to celebrate the incredible women of Mzansi on the 9th of August. Happening at the iconic DP World Wanderers Stadium in Sandton. They'll be joined by South Africa's multi-award-winning singers, the incomparable Zonke, Sjava, Vusinova. Get your tickets now on CompuTicket or webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Soulful Night, Vetex Events and 702.
Hey, did you see the office of the tax ombuds stand at Menlyn Mall? It's right next to Starbucks.
No way. What are they doing here?
It's filing tax season, and they're helping people who have complaints against SARS. If you feel like you've been treated unfairly by SARS, they can help. And it's completely free.
That's smart. I didn't know they help for free.
Yep, smart taxpayers do the right thing. Visit the office of the tax ombud at Menlyn Mall from Friday 11 July until Saturday 12 July.
Relationship issues?
Relationship talk.
On 702.
10 minutes before 12 o'clock. Let's go back to your WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Morning, Clement. I try to seduce my wife. I just look at her and she goes like, don't look at me like that. I'm tired. Good morning. I don't know what to do.
What? Like, don't look at me like that. I'm tired. Okay, Lisa. Clearly that look has a reference point. Like, maybe the wife knows that, the minute I see that look, I know what he wants.
Oh no. Okay, so she obviously knows that look. It's obviously a very special look. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of people say that they're tired, and it could in fact be that they don't want to be invited into the same kind of intimacy that typically happens. So here's an idea. Instead of giving her the look, which she automatically has a response for, try doing something different. We can invite our partners to intimacy in lots of different ways, and we can invite them into specific kinds of intimacy. So this is something I like to suggest, creating a sex menu. What I mean by that is have like a quickie menu, have more of a seductive menu, like a romantic menu, but that you guys together discuss what would your ideal sex menu include, like kissing, a bit of foreplay, a bit of this and that, finish up with this magical thing at the end. maybe her idea of a great sex menu would be a long massage and a foot rub and then X, Y, and Z that maybe we don't want to say on the radio, right? So we create these different menus that are exciting to each of us, and it's okay that we have different preferences. And then instead of just giving her the look which gives her that knee-jerk reaction, you say, how do you feel about trying X, Y, and Z tonight? Or would you like A, B, or C? What do you feel available for? What would feel good for you right now? So then she has to actually think about it, like, oh. And as somebody in a partnership, it's important to not only always say no to your partner, but to actually check in and think about what could you be available for? Are you interested in, laying naked together, kissing, gazing into each other's eyes? Like, if your partner's reaching out and giving you that look, instead of automatically shutting it down, realize that that is a bid for connection. So how are you available to connect? So it goes both ways. If you're listening and you always say no to that reaction, could you be available for something instead of rejecting without even thinking? And if you're the person who's initiating, could you change it up so that you can invite them into something that might be appealing and interesting instead of using the same old technique that just gets shut down?
Yeah.
Hello, it's
Rejection
Clement.
is
Morning.
tough.
This is Lois from Moraleta Park. So, how does a guy go about seducing his girlfriend? I'm really not practiced in that area because, let's say, me and my girlfriend had a child, and then 8 months later, and the act is still not as consistent as before. Maybe we perform the act only maybe once a month. So how does a guy go about doing that? Can you please ask your guest?
Okay, let's get this one as well.
So if we're wanting to have more consistent intimacy, firstly, I guess you just have to understand that becoming a parent does change everything. And 8 months, things are still adjusting. There is exhaustion, hormonal shifts, identity shift for both of you, right? So if sex is inconsistent right now, it's not like a red flag for your relationship. It's really common. And if you feel like you're not practiced at seduction, that's okay. You can just begin in very small ways. And you can actually, by the fact that you're interested in doing this is a huge positive. So you're showing up with affection, right? If you can just show up with affection without necessarily expecting anything in return, especially in the early days, then it can start to rebuild that connection and the spark, right? So you're just showing up, not pressuring her, not having that kind of like, oh, come on, it's been 8 months, it should be weekly by now, it should be every 3 days. So instead, you're just inviting, you're showing the interest, you're reminding her that she's so special to you with those compliments, doing the dishes without being asked, all of that kind of stuff. That energy, instead of thinking, what can I do to get sex? Instead, what can you do to help her feel relaxed, to help you both feel connected, and to remind yourselves that you are these kind of lovers who have that spark as well. So it's taking time, step by step, you'll get there again.
Hey Clement, love the topic. I just wanted to share that what works for me, and maybe this could work for others and they could incorporate it, is music. If you know your partner is coming to your house or you are driving there, be like me and have a playlist on Spotify that has the kind of music that gets you in the mood, that gets you thinking, yes, I am that girl. I am the sexy, seductive human being, and I am going to rock his world and he's going to rock mine. Because as the music is playing and you're listening and you're singing along, you start imagining all these things, and it kind of helps get you in the mood. And for me, by the time he comes over and when he hears the music play, he knows that it's time.
What time
that
it
we're
is.
about to get it on. So, music, ladies, music. I reckon it helps.
All right.
Along with lingerie, of course.
Along with lingerie. Love it. I love
10
it.
out of 10.
10
What a
out of
great
10.
suggestion.
Yeah. Oh,
Gold
Lisa
star.
Welsh, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us. Lisa Welsh is a sex educator and founder of Save That Spark. Check it out. It's 4 minutes before 12.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Can you hear that? That's the sound of someone discovering value cement at only R84.90. And yes, that's a free cappuccino while their paint is expertly mixed at 10% off. They've entered a wild world of unbelievable DIY deals. And frankly, they can't believe their luck. Join us from 17 July to 3 August for Chamberlain's famous for superb value promotion, packed with savings on DIY, outdoor and building supplies. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Okay, truck 7, that has 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without My Way's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
It's Feel Good Friday, and Clicks is giving you a reason to celebrate with your shot at winning 2,500 Rand Clicks Club Card cashback on 702.
So I asked you earlier to send me a story about your Clicks Club Card, cashbacks. I asked you that if there's something that helped you in that moment and you used your Clicks Club Card, what's your story? What was that moment when this Clicks Club Card cashback came through for you? And we have Nobesutu who sent us her story. How are you doing, Nobesutu?
I'm good, and you, Clement? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So what's your story?
Thank you. My story is that it came through at a time when I was having difficulties financially. My medical aid I stopped paying for it and I cancelled it.
Yeah.
And then I'm chronic, and if you chronic, you need to have your meds every month. And I tried swiping, and they told me that I had like over 1,000 Rand on my cashback points, and actually I used it for maybe 2 or 3 months to pay for my medical. Yeah.
Oh wow! Well, Nobesutu,
Yes.
guess what? You have won yourself 2,500 Rand in Clicks Club Card cashback. Thanks to Clicks Feel Good, Pay Less here on 702. Congratulations to you, Nobesutu. I hope that's going to come in very handy. Choose your health. Choose Clicks with a great health savings until the 21st of July. Save 20% on Uriclear 6 Vage caps for now at 144 Rand, or 28 Vage caps now at 211 Rand. Buy any 3 Zimplex products, including skincare and adult, and excluding gummies, and get the cheapest one free. Buy any 3 Vital products and get the cheapest one free. And buy Effaflu C Cold and Flu 20 effervescent tablets, 120 Rand per pack. It's Clicks Club Card's 30th birthday. So get more deals and bigger discounts exclusive to members. And if you're not a member yet, you can sign up today. Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Feel good. Pay less. Thank you for listening to the Friday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. We'll be back on Monday at 9 o'clock. Have a beautiful weekend, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Khomutso Modise. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the outcomes of the national dialogue cannot supersede the country's constitution. Ramaphosa is currently meeting with the Eminent Persons Group at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. The group is made up of high-profile South Africans tasked with championing the dialogue across the country. Ramaphosa says the dialogue, which is due to take place next month, will be an important event that will shape the future of the country.
The national dialogue does not
and is not aimed at displacing the democratic processes mandated by our Constitution.
Of the docket in its attempted murder case against alleged crime kingpin Vusumuzi Kat Madlala. The controversial businessman made a brief appearance before the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning. He's accused of conspiring to commit murder in the